how do you assess Ramsdale so far, Andy?
Didn't have a great deal to do the other night. Don't think he could do a great deal about the first goal. It's a good header. Romero gets across Dan Burn and he heads it down, skids off the surface, nothing much you can do about it. Could he have done better with the punch for the second goal? Something that Nick Pope has been criticised about, that he didn't get too much distance. He coming and punching and not getting distance on it. What he's had to do, he's done okay. He had absolutely nothing to do with Everton. And as I say, didn't have a great deal to do the other night, so really hard to judge, because he hasn't had much to do in both the games he's played.
Black and white stripes, black shorts, black socks for United. Ramsdale in light blue but with white socks rather, and wearing short sleeves, the goalkeeper. Burnley in their traditional colours, they're claret and blue, and white shorts and predominantly blue socks. Goalkeeper Dubravka wearing light green. In charge of the match today, the referee Stuart Atwell, who comes from Warwickshire. He did the Sunderland draw with Liverpool the other night, and in Newcastle season he was most recently seen at Brentford when he sent off Dan Burn, and they had the penalty situations, which probably in the end justice was done and things evened themselves out that day. Konstantin Hatzidakis, Steve Meredith are the assistants, Sam Allison is the fourth official, and Paul Howard and Sean Massey Ellis are on VAR. Burnley, Dubravka, Walker, Ekdal, Esteve, Lucas Pires, Ugachukwu, Cullen, Florentino Luis, Broja, Brun Larsen and Foster. And Newcastle United with 6 changes: Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow, Cher, Burn at left back, Ramsey, second Premier League start for him, Bruno, Willock, Elanga, Gordon, Voltemada. On the bench, Ruddy, Hall, Joelinton, Tonali, Wissa, Barnes, Jacob Murphy, Alex Murphy and Miley. There are plenty of times that they are red hot favourites, John Anderson, and it doesn't go the way you expect, but if they could win big today, that would give everybody a huge lift. And you think a fixture like this offers you more of the chance to do that than perhaps some of the others, but first and foremost they've got to perform well with a much changed team and simply just get the job done.
It's all about going out with the right attitude. It's all about your attitude, your work rate's got to be there, and then because you've got the better quality you then go and win the game. But if your attitude and your work rate's not there, it could make life very, very difficult for yourself.
BBC Radio Newcastle and the Newcastle United website and app. The match has started. Burnley back to Dubravka, up the pitch, and a throw in on the far side. Newcastle, they've won the toss again, so they kick towards the Leazes end in the first half. As I'm sure you know from our commentary position just behind the Newcastle bench, they are kicking towards the goal to the left. Burnley with Ugachukwu, who has managed to win a corner after 30 seconds. Some defending there that needed to be done. VAR in use today because it's a Premier League match, but not really for us because our television screen that we review incidents on has been taken away because it was faulty. So we're just going back to the pre-VAR era today.
It's with you having kicked it the other night when the equaliser went in.
I did no such thing. Here's the corner from Burnley. On the left, it's whipped to the near post, and a combination of Voltemada and Ramsdale get it behind. That was a good delivery, wasn't it?
It was a good delivery, right under the crossbar, wasn't it?
Lots of swing on that one from Jakob Brun Larsen. And they're going to take another corner kick, Burnley. This time from the near side, and it's the fullback, Lucas Pires. It's his first Premier League start, only his second Premier League appearance. And with bright orange boots, he lifts it towards the back post. They've got a couple free, headed across the box, and Baltimore
again
swings it clear. That's what Alan Shearer used to do.
Play him at centre back. Another good delivery, wasn't it? Back post, free header.
Back in the day, Shearer would be the one heading away and clearing corner kicks. Baltimore there doing good defensive work for his team. Lucas Pires now up to the edge of the area, straight to Malik Chow, half clear, then Livramento intercepts. He's got two Burnley players on him. He's turned away well, and they've got the ball back to Fabian Schär, chipped up the line looking for Willard, tries to get around his man. Lucas Pires has turned nicely, and inside to the midfielder Josh Cullen. Back they go to central defence Burnley. Hjalmar Ekdal, Dubravka away. Schär tries to climb and win it. It's been headed on. It's a positive start by the visitors. Uga Chukru's run is stopped. Livramento into the box facing his own goal. Oh, the clearance hit Lyle Foster, and Aaron Ramsdale had to get down to save. Newcastle United, 3 minutes gone. It's been all Burnley, and this has been a really surprising start. And Uga Chukwu up the line, and Broja
so
here.
Slow getting out.
Burnley are right on top. Broja goes one side of Schär, then the other, and it's a poor shot that's blocked. Dan Burn just keeps the ball in. Long clearance looking for Baltimore on halfway. They can't get the ball. Burnley are playing like Barcelona.
It's been a slow start from us. We haven't really got out of the blocks, have we?
Burn looking for Bruno, who gets pushed over. Florentino Luis with the foul. Everton lead Nottingham Forest by a 0-0, and an own goal from Nikola Milenkovic, the Forest defender. 0-0 here, but I had Newcastle worried a couple of times. Burnley, they're going the other way. Gordon on the outside of Walker, and it's Ekdal who clears, and then Walker gets it away again. Broja and Chow battling. Bruno header on, but no one there in black and white. Kyle Walker with time to lift it forward.
Offside. Get your flag up.
Lyle Foster caught by the offside trap, and then the flag going up. Free kick on the left, which has been taken. Jacob Ramsey, who's playing at the left of the midfield three. Joe Willock on the right of Bruno in the centre. Jacob Ramsey's brother Aaron plays for Burnley, but he's out on loan at Leicester in the Championship at the moment. Malik Chow takes a touch up to Gordon. Good control by Gordon. Then he brings it down onto the floor. Ramsey just inside, close to the edge of the box. Bruno here. They're not giving them any space, are they? Everybody getting back for Burnley, keeping it tight. Elanga to Bruno. Livramento on the outside, across the 6-yard box. Well, it's Livramento who was offside in that move.
Better. It's better.
Antoine Semenyo's given Bournemouth the lead against Chelsea. Goalless here, but the first 2 or 3 minutes Burnley were absolutely full of it, weren't they?
Yeah, they started brightly. I thought we were slow, we were sloppy. It was a little bit of a wake-up call for us, to be fair.
Now they've got it again, Burnley, and they look for the top corner with Foster just over the crossbar. It was dipping.
Ramsdale was off his line, wasn't he? And he wasn't sure whether that was dipping enough. Thankfully it just dipped as it got over the crossbar.
Just came down too late, didn't it, for Burnley's liking, but that's another attempt, another effort, and Newcastle with 6 changes. Burnley made 4, and it's certainly given them something different. They've made a confident start, but it remains goalless. You'd just like it to settle down a little bit. I suppose they may feel they've got nothing to lose. Not many people would expect them to win. Scott Parker is often described as maybe quite a cautious manager. don't always see a lot of goals in his team's matches, but they're playing attacking football today. Walker pushes Gordon over, clear foul. It's on the near side, Newcastle's left wing, past halfway. And Burnley not really helping by giving the ball back. Free kick taken from totally the wrong place, but Newcastle get it started. Share to Livramento. Elanga just up the line, drops into halfway to get it. Look for Bruno. He's down, Elanga, and has stayed down. Burnley have it back and go on the attack. Ugachukwu challenged by United at the edge of the area. Now Bruno onto Willock. Elanga is fine and is part of this attack. Willock to the edge of the box. His cross looking for Gordon at the back post. Was just too far ahead of the Newcastle winger, and actually it's come out for a throw next to the corner flag on the near side.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? You lose the ball and Elanga goes down. As soon as we get it, he's up and he's ready to go again. As soon as we got it back.
Kyle Walker, this is his 425th Premier League appearance. Throw up the line. Gordon has won it back. Burn inside to Ramsey. Now to Bruno. Moved it well and quickly. Livramento. Elanga trying to give him an angle on the edge of the area. It goes to Elanga out wide and miskicked his pass. Cher's got it. Plays it to Ramsdale. Back to Cher. Coming towards the halfway line now, Newcastle in the 9th minute. Burn wants him to switch it. Fabian Cher. It's gone up the right wing instead to Anthony Elanga. On for the run of Livramento. That's good. Here's the cross. Gordon's header. And Ramsey, it's hit him on the knee and ended up in the hands of Dubravka.
Pure touch. Great ball played in. Good header back by Gordon. It's just got away from him, hasn't it?
Dan Burn gave Malik Chow a shout. Got behind him with Broja close by and flicked it back to Aaron Ramsdale. Good defending. 0-0. Cher in behind, looking for Elanga. Burnley's header goes back into the box from Estev, and Dubravka comes and claims. Estev, they've nicknamed him Steve, and it sounds like they're booing him, but they're just shouting Steve, the Burnley fans. They're calling his name there after that piece of defending. And they've got it forwards pretty quickly. Brun Larsen, Livramento with the tackle, Cullen to Walker, and on the right corner of Newcastle's box, Foster back to Walker, lifted in, too high for Broja, goal kick.
Angle was never right to stick a cross in.
BBC Radio Newcastle. 0-0. Burn. Ramsey just up the line, still in his own half. Inside towards Voltemada, but cut out. Dubravka's got it, edge of the area. And oh no, Florentino Luis has lost it to Willock. And Bruno for Ramsey, left side of the area. And Voltemada blocked on the way towards goal. They might well have gone ahead there, Newcastle. That was... There's taking a chance, and then there's that.
There's taking chances, and then, as you rightly say, there's taken chances, and there's been downright casual.
Florentino Luis dispossessed edge of the penalty box. Ramsey did the right thing. Maybe could have gone for goal, but he squared it to Voltemada. Seemed to hit it into the ground, and then a defender blocked it in front of goal. Both teams have had chances. It's been quite open, and in that respect, enjoyable enough. Lots of space on the far side for Lucas Pires, and he sent in a good-looking ball. Burns being caught by Ugachukwu. Might need some treatment here, Dan Burn. He put his arm up straight away. The cross deflected up. Aaron Ramsdale caught it, and Ugachukwu was sliding in and caught Dan Burn late, and the medical team are being asked to come on. Ooh, yeah, it's caught him on the outside of the left ankle, but it looks like it could, I don't know if it's his back, and maybe he's landed awkwardly. I'm having to look at somebody else's replay screen on another row of desks in the commentary area to check on that. Lewis Hall and Alex Murphy have been told to warm up by Eddie Howe. Newcastle United 0, Burnley 0. Some instructions here for Joe Willock. Nick Voltemada and Jacob Ramsey are pitch side as well, each with a water bottle. Thought Joe Willock did well in Marseille, and then he was out of the team again at Everton. Another opportunity for him today. He's past the 150 appearances mark. This is game 153 for Willock. 26 years of age now. Dan Burn's back onto his feet, and he's being told by the assistant referee he has to go off, which is the rule, but he's not very happy about it. Jacob Ramsey's going to fill in at left back, and the referee has got the ball in one hand, drops it at the feet of Aaron Ramsdale, who picks it up. It's to follow the protocols, haven't they?
Yeah, he's not happy about it, is he?
With Burn, and also with restarting the game. Ramsdale from the edge of the area kicks out of his hands. Voltemada backs into the defender. It's come to Bruno. Willock now towards Elanga, but beaten to it by Lucas Pires. And then Elanga gets a boot to the ball. Burnley going backwards. Esteve clears. Shares header. And Livramento covering. Brings it down. Forwards to Bruno. It's a soft foul, but he's been nudged over. And he's down here, the skipper, holding his right ankle, and when he takes his hand off his ankle, he's hitting it off the floor.
Obviously not that bad.
He's been helped up to his feet.
Not even limping.
Just a scratch, a graze. Did have ankle trouble a couple of seasons ago, didn't he? Hopefully he'll be fine to carry on. It's back in the play. Gordon, good first touch. Voltemada towards Bruno. There's a player in the way. Bruno whips it around him. Broja to the far right hand side. Livramento for Elanga. Short ball to Willock, 30 yards from the goal here. Back to Cher. Every Burnley player now behind the ball. Chow at the front of the centre circle. Passes it with his right to Burn. Onto Gordon, looking for Ramsey. Lets it run for Burn, but Burnley have managed to nick it back.
Good luck with that.
The ball in behind. Ramsdale edge of the area, quickly onto Jacob Ramsey. Inside now to Bruno. Back to Cher. And they're on their way forwards with Livramento. Elanga trying to run in behind Lucas Pires. He's got there. Good run by Elanga. Takes it under control. Comes back up the line with it. And they're in possession with Bruno, but Burnley have got everybody back defending. Elanga from Livramento. Still Anthony Elanga. Low shot. Dubravka down to gather towards the right hand post.
Yeah, comfortable, wasn't it? Had the confidence to take it on though, didn't he? Left footed.
Ramsdale's got it. Burnley went up the pitch. Newcastle had it back from the goalkeeper, and it's with Livramento. And now Cher across to Burn, who seems all right. Goalless on BBC Radio Newcastle. The Sunderland match is on DAB and Freeview channel 711. Also 0-0. Elanga looking lively. His through ball is overhit. Combined well on the far side there. Nice move but about 25 yards out he rolled it in behind, but it was far too strong.
Yeah, not too sure who he was trying to pick out. Good turn of pace again though, wasn't it?
He's one of only 2 Newcastle players this season, Anthony Elanga, to have taken to the field in all 21 of their games before today. This is 22. The other one is Harvey Barnes, who is on the bench. I'm sure we'll see Barnes at some point, but if not, Elanga will be the only ones who've played in every match. Burnley get a throw on the left wing. No urgency. Lucas Pires, who played regularly last season, lost his place at the start of this, but back in today, eventually throws it towards the box. Livramento heads away. Cullen with a header. He's not the biggest midfielder. Livramento and Bruno battling to win it back on the far side. Burnley go back into a deep midfield position. Into the box from Cullen's pass, nodded down. Livramento's won it and then cleared it. Yalmar Ekdal chests it down for Maxime Esteve, and they've got Cullen on it in the centre circle. Looking to play that one in behind Dan Burn. He's headed it back away. Walker on his chest. Kyle Walker into the corner. Ball has just stayed in and nudged behind. Corner kick off Dan Burn.
Good battle that. 2 strong boys.
Lucas Pires comes over to take the corner. 19 minutes played. Hasn't been, despite a couple of moments, the most comfortable afternoon so far. Burnley have looked quite dangerous when they've gone forwards. Lucas Pires here with this corner, plenty of pace on it. Ramsdale, he's clawed it onto the bar, and it's behind. Goal kick is the decision.
Oh, it wasn't great goalkeeping, was it? What, did he punch it onto the crossbar?
Might have hit the angle at the top. Ramsdale came. Lucas Pires is sending them in with such pace and curl. Ramsdale there, he punched it, it looped up and clipped the woodwork on the way down.
Oh,
and it was off the angle, wasn't it?
Lucky boy.
Chow up to Gordon. Ramsey runs beyond. Gordon forced back by Walker, who has pushed him over. Burn takes the free kick, totally the wrong position again, but Burnley are not helping Newcastle when it comes to restarting play. Joe Willock here, centre of midfield, back to Cher. Chow gets it. Broyer ahead of the ball, every other Burnley player behind it. Going to get their way through 9 outfield players. Gordon wanted Ramsey in. He says that took a touch off Walker, and it should be a corner.
Yeah, it's not happening in that final third.
Referee Stuart Atwell didn't see a deflection. It's a goal kick. Martin Dubravka. Over to the far touchline. Burnley head it, keep it in. A couple of challenges from both teams. Now Malik Chow header. Uga Chukwu for Burnley. Cher into space with a header to Ramsey. And Burn here brings it back inside for Chow. It allows the visitors to get back into their shape. Only one of their 3 wins this season came away from home. It was at Wolves, 3-2. Lyle Foster, who's out there, scored an injury time winner. They've also beaten Leeds and Sunderland at home. Good ball by Cher. Gordon in a bit of space in between Burnley midfield and defence. Plays it to Elanga wide right. Elanga with a step over and a blocked cross. He's got it back. into the area to Livramento, laid off to Bruno, who hits one, and Dubravka gets down to his right to make a save.
Comfortable again, wasn't it? It was a swinger, no real power in it. Good build-up play again though, wasn't it?
Burnley don't get very far forwards. Now back to the keeper. Gordon goes to rush Dubravka. Oh, he's deflected the clearance. He took a chance there. That's twice they've been caught, and Bruno can't hold on to it in midfield. Ugo Chukwu is bigger and stronger, comes forwards with it up the line to Broja. They've got four in the middle. Armando Broja on the outside of Dan Burn, and straight at Ramsdale.
It's awful.
Risky play from Dubravka. Cher now looking for Elanga or Willock. Burnley have won it back, and there's plenty of frustration in the home areas of St James's Park about the way this is going. Brun Larsen on the outside, hangs up across, there was nobody there, back post. It's a lovely ball in. Gordon concedes a corner.
Everybody got dragged near post.
Just
somebody waited back post. It's tap into an empty net, isn't it?
Chipped it up across the face of the goal, Brun Larsen, about head height as well. And then Gordon coming in, just making sure that Newcastle weren't put under pressure again immediately. Got in front of his man and decided to put it behind. They can now try to reset here. 0-0, but not great. Lucas Pires. It's another one of those corners, fired in. Ramsdale, that's better. He's clawed it behind. Came off his line to deal with it. He's got good quality and technique, hasn't he, from the set pieces? Lucas
Every
Pires.
set piece, whether it be right or left side, the delivery's been good, hasn't it?
And they're putting it in with plenty, like I say, pace, whip, and getting it close to the goal as well, aren't they? 5 players around the back post. This one's going to be from Brun Larsen. Let's see if they do the same thing again. He's tried to get it at the back post. Esteves header across. Gordon up. Chow away. Florentino Luis heads it now. Livramento drops his shoulder, goes outside. Brun Larsen turns away from him, comes back, rolls it inside to Chow. Across towards Burn, flicked on. Oh, that's clever from Burn. Flicked on to Willock. And now Gordon, 20 yards out, Newcastle. Out on the left touchline. Gordon comes in, which he likes to do. Turns and goes on the outside and gives it to Willock, who has to take it out towards the wing. Back to Burn. They've still got it. Burn to Cher. Closing down now from Walker from full back to centre forward. Chow onto Ramsey, gets turned. Turns away from Walker a second time. Just been running round the pitch, Kyle Walker. He's now back in position. And the applause for the substitutes warming up, including Johan Wissa. But applause turns to a groan as Newcastle give it away in midfield. Broja turns past Bruno. Willock, good challenge. Very good from Joe Willock, who gets it back from Dan Bird. Now trying to make something happen, Willock. Square to Bruno. Ramsey to the right wing to Livramento. Voltemada in the middle. They delay the cross, and it's short passes in midfield. Bruno back to Cher. 26th minute, trying to get the opening goal. Still Newcastle in midfield, slowly moving it around. Bruno back to Cher in the centre circle. And to his right, Malik Chow. Up to Ramsey. Flick to Bruno. It's good skill. And Gordon back to Bruno. Maybe a chance to hit it. Burnley close off the space, so he goes wide to Livramento. Voltemada gets in the middle of the box. Now Ramsey. Bruno bringing it back to Cher in the centre circle. Trying to be patient, Newcastle. Lift it up out to the far touchline to Elanga. And Livramento back to Elanga, who has been tackled by Florentino Luis. And now a clearance from Esteve. Chow forwards again. Ramsey on his chest. Away from a challenge. And Newcastle Richarlison's given Spurs the lead against Brentford. Baltimore outside the area, gets it, sidesteps his man, flicks it around and away to Livramento, close to the corner. Back to Chow, who sticks it in. Hit it! Headed away as far as Burn. Now Ramsey to Willock, inside to Gordon, edge of the box. Gordon goes for the far corner, hits! Did he clip the post? It's just wide from Gordon. That's a great effort off his left boot. Dubravka was never getting there. It looked like it might have clipped off the post as it went
It's a good hit, isn't it? They work it well. Might have just clipped the outside of the post. It was always going away, wasn't it? Yeah, just hit the outside of the post. It was always just drifting away. But it was a good hit. Better.
Gordon looking to score again after his penalty the other night, first in the Premier League, a goal since January, but a fifth of the season with 4 in the Champions League. Elanga nicely on to Willock, and Elanga wants a return ball. Joe Willock's made a positive start in midfield, whether he's been on the left or on the right. Here's Gordon, misplaced pass. Brun Larsen for Burnley, a misplaced pass. Jacob Ramsey's got it back. There have been some good moments. That Gordon effort, one of them, but there's been some sloppiness as well. Both teams losing it there. Livramento onto Willock, gets away, powerful run, can't find Voltemada with the cross though. Share to Livramento, maybe they're getting closer, Newcastle, having hit the woodwork. And a couple of attacks here as Elanga wins a throw 25 yards out. Scott Parker, very fashionably dressed, out with some instructions for his players. Padded navy jacket. Newcastle have a problem in the box, and it's Joe Willock. They've sent the physio up the touchline, but they haven't needed him to come on. With a bit of a limp, Willock gets back into the middle, back into action. Second Premier League start of the season for him, just like Ramsey. 0-0, almost at half an hour. The throw goes back to Cher, and the two centre-backs, Cher and Chow, seem to be switching who's right and who's left.
Yeah, Chow mainly on this left side. Cher predominantly right.
Dan Burn now, Gordon making the run in behind. They're trying to find him over the top and away from Walker, and Yekdal came across. He might have been able to let that go, but headed it behind for this Newcastle United corner. And Bruno, whose delivery was good when it came on against Spurs for the second half, will be taking this one. Livramento on the edge of the penalty area is the furthest outfield player away from the goal. So everybody back and everybody else in the box, and a packed 6-yard box as players make their move. Bruno fires it in! Bruno scored straight from the corner! Well, we said his delivery was good the other night. It's even better this time. Bruno Guimaraes, direct from a corner kick, beyond his old colleague Martin Dubravka, has given Newcastle United the lead in what's been an awkward half an hour. Well, it's been funny game so far, and it's a curious goal. You don't see many of those, but Bruno has scored again, his 5th of the season. Newcastle United 1, Burnley 0.
I don't think we talked about Dubravka beforehand. I don't think he's going to want to see that one again. I mean, it's a ball whipped into a great area, but it just goes straight over his head. Oh, yeah.
And Bruno takes the acclaim of St James's Park, blows kisses to somebody in the crowd, clenches his fist and points it towards the Gallagher end. Newcastle United 1, Burnley 0. And I've got news of another goal for you, Ando.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Oh, go on then.
Diaz at Manchester City has just put them ahead against Sunderland.
All right, so as Bruno scored for Newcastle, Manchester City scored against Sunderland. Suddenly you've got a big smile on your face.
I'm always smiling, Razor, you know that.
Goals not only change games, but change your mood as well, don't they? Here's Voltemada to Ramsey. And they've got energy and confidence now from that goal. Gordon, Burn on the outside, to the back post. No one could get a touch. Oh, Willock in the middle, close.
That's where your out-and-out centre forward is in there. It's a great ball. Across the 6-yard box. Takes the goalkeeper out of it.
It was too far ahead of Willock,
isn't it?
Yeah, Elanga was coming in back post but couldn't reach it either. Johan Wissa was watching from the touchline on the near side, probably wishing he was there just to apply the finish. Voltemada today's had one effort blocked which looked goal bound, and we've not really been able to look at anything again to try and give you more detail and clarity on things, because they showed the goal on the giant screen, but normally we have a small television that's placed in front of you, but it was faulty, so they took it away and said that we couldn't have another one. Some of the Newcastle video analysts sit right in front of us. They've got laptops there, but they're doing all sorts of things on them with data, and we don't always get to, we can see their screens, but we don't always get a replay. Back pass from Cher to Ramsdale, who'd gone up out of his goal, and the ball sent him backwards. Now Chow onto Willock. Beautiful first touch. Elanga wants it up the line. Willock delays the pass and then gives it to Anthony Elanga. Onto Bruno. Out to the corner for Willock. Will he get there? No.
Good play again. One touch stuff. Just a little ball in behind.
Manchester City 2, Sunderland 0 at the Etihad Stadium. And Newcastle United 1, Burnley 0 here on FM on BBC Radio Newcastle and the Newcastle United website and app. If you want Sunderland commentary and you're trying to find it, it's on Freeview Channel 711 or BBC Radio Newcastle on DAB. Gordon to Ramsey. It's a nice move up the left. Anthony Gordon's got it back. Oh, now Kyle Walker has sent him spinning with a challenge that's going to see Walker yellow carded. He's left his mark on Gordon. He'll know him from England duty, and Gordon beat him but was then caught by a pretty strong challenge. Free kick is right on the corner of the box, and Bruno's gone to the ball. So he scored straight from a corner. Could he do it from a free kick? They lead 1-0. Joško Gvardiol for Man City with their second goal. I wonder what...
That's Semenya goal's been disallowed, by the way.
So it's 0-0 Bournemouth-Chelsea. Thank you. Bruno, cries of shoot. He could shoot, or he could roll it edge of the area or pick someone out. He'd shoot was the decision from Bruno.
Shouldn't have listened to the crowd.
He's tried to catch Dubravka out and whip it near post, but it wasn't on target.
Didn't get above knee height, did it?
Lucas Pires, decent ball up to halfway. Burnley for Lyle Foster on the right, now into the box, plays it to the edge of the area. Deflected shot from Jakob Brun
Good build up that, wasn't it? Moved it well, moved it quick.
Capable of playing some nice football. So everybody in a black and white striped shirt has to come back. Jason Tyndall joined by Martin Mark, the set piece coach. and are told by the fourth official, Sam Allison, one of them has to get back from the side of the pitch. Here's the corner. Ooh, Dan Burn in front of Aaron Ramsdale, close to the goal line, heads it away from the post and behind. I don't know, because Ramsdale's not the tallest goalkeeper, maybe they feel that they can put him under pressure by sticking them in as ferociously as they do to try and catch him out. Here comes another one. They've actually rolled this one along the goal line. Lucas Pires gives it back to Jakob Brun-Larsen. Now Cullen, edge of the penalty area, out wide again. Florentino Luis. Joe Willock makes a block, goes to close down Walker on halfway. Kyle Walker drops his shoulder, gets away from him, and it's straight onto the head of Anthony Gordon, but he can't get it forwards, can only flick it out to at least stop the flow of the Burnley play and allow Newcastle to step up the pitch. Defensive line is across the middle of their half. Bruno from the corner, directly from a corner kick to give them a 1-0 lead. Another corner. Burnley corner. We'll have to check how many of these they've had. It's supposed to be about 8, I think.
Plenty of them, yeah.
Voltemada close to Ramsdale, as is Burn. This one is looped up and it's towards the far corner of the penalty box, not really close to goal. Estev's kept it in, Bruno's with him, and Estev's found space to deliver a cross, flicked on by Burnley, straight at Livramento and away. Bounces on the halfway line. Dubravka comes out of his goal, takes it on his chest, passes it inside to Walker. Two of Burnley's most experienced players, two of their top performers this season, but Dubravka will not want to see the Newcastle goal again. In midfield, Florentino Luis. Aaron Ramsdale comes over the top of a couple of players, gets his hands on the ball and then lands on the floor and gathers it properly a second time. Jacob Ramsey gets away. Gordon back forwards looking for Ramsey. Oh, he's hurt himself here, Ramsey.
Not again.
Hopefully it's not his ankle, but he looks like he's come off quite badly from that challenge. Stayed down, lying on his side, keeps rolling onto his back and then onto his side again. He's dragged himself up, which, given the way that he responded to the challenge,
moving well now.
Oh dear. Seemed unlikely. Goodness me, he looked in a really bad way then. Remember, he had the ankle injury from the challenge at Leeds, which was quite a bad one. He was out for getting on for 2 months. So of course you think about that and perhaps worry that he's re-injured himself. But Burnley are playing it around midfield, and Ramsey would appear to be all right. Livramento blocks a cross from Lucas Pires, and it's a throw level with the Newcastle box. They've got the lead. Gordon's hit the post. They've had a couple of other chances, but they've been lots of moments of concern at the other end, many of them from set pieces. This is open play, lifted into the box. Chow heads clear, then Ramsey is caught late, but he's headed it on to Voltemada, and now Gordon over halfway. Two with him, Gordon inside. Here's Anthony Elanga. It's away from both him and Dubravka, but Elanga's kept it alive in the box, and then he's had a shot saved. It's a corner. There was one of those in Marseille when it was whipped across for Gordon, who let it run in front of the goalkeeper, and it got away from him as well. That was similar. Elanga kept it alive and fair enough decided to go for the shot, which Burnley turned behind. He could have teed up a teammate, but he decided to try and get his first Newcastle goal there. It is corner kick on the right, and still the opportunity to double their lead shortly before half time, but a good break.
Yeah, it was a good break. Gordon again involved, using his pace.
Bruno out swinging corner. He's come to Willock, edge of the box. He's taken a touch and then rather rushed a shot and sliced it high and wide. And on 42 minutes, thousands of fans decide to go and try and get to the front of the queues for half-time refreshments following that effort from Willock. They have it again. Ramsey's coming into it more. Gordon, a through ball. Elanga's onto it in a flash. Elanga down at the edge of the area. Referee with a decision to make. Now what's he going to do? It's a red card. Burnley reduced to 10 men. Lucas Pires, is it? He's put his hand on his head, the left fullback whose set pieces have been causing Newcastle problems all afternoon. Anthony Elanga was away, and with his pace he takes some catching, and the only way to stop him was to foul him. And Lucas Pires, as Elanga ran through the middle getting onto the through ball, has brought him down in the D, and Stuart Atwell produced a red card. Newcastle lead 1-0 and Burnley are down to 10.
I don't think you can have too many complaints.
He got none of the ball.
No, it's definitely a free kick. I suppose the only question that you've got to ask is, was he getting the ball?
Well, VAR is Paul Howard. Sean Massey-Ellis is the assistant VAR, and they obviously review all of these incidents and decisions. Referee seemed to have a good position and took quick action. There is communication between Stuart Atwell and VAR, but Lucas Pires is on his way over to the touchline. The referee is surrounded by players. It looks like this decision is going to stand. Lucas Pires gets a hug from Lyle Foster, one of his teammates. Now
they're obviously happy, aren't they? Yeah.
He's coming back towards the group of players. He hasn't left the pitch yet, although he was on his way off. Newcastle have put the ball down on the edge of the D, and they're just waiting here to have this confirmed. It is confirmed. He's off. Lucas Pires. Newcastle 1-0 up and have a man advantage. And Thomas Frank's Spurs against his old club Brentford now lead 2-0. Xavi Simons with a goal, which is his first for Spurs. Scott Parker gives Lucas Pires a hug. He's played well, and then one moment as a defender, well, you know that, and though you can be
nowadays,
you can be in trouble. Yeah.
Especially in those situations.
What are they when you've got a free kick like this? Fabian Schär is there.
Just get it on target.
Is it with Schär because he's got great technique? Do you think he should blast it or just try and tease it in?
With the way he strikes it, just strike it. Don't try and be too clever with it. But he's got good technique about him, Schär. He can get it up and he can get it down. 5 minutes added to the end of the first half on BBC Radio Newcastle. Fabian Schär's free kick. They've got a corner. Dubravka got across to push it behind. He's whipped it across the wall.
Real chance here to, well, consolidate this situation, leading, extend the lead, press home the advantage in first half added on time against 10 men. Bruno scored from the last corner. It's onto the roof of the net that time. Well, it made the netting bulge and move about, but from the wrong side.
Yeah, you won't do that too often, will you? Score direct from a corner.
I don't know if anybody's done that twice in a game. I can't think of anything. That would be
it'd be a first.
Interesting bit of trivia if it happened. Burnley have on the bench Quilinci Hartman, who's a Dutch international and was ever present at left back before today. Lucas Pires replaced him and has now been sent off. There's been no change yet. It looks like they might have a 3 at the moment, trying to get to half time perhaps. Joe Worrell is warming up, the former Nottingham Forest defender, who's a big centre half. When you're at the bottom of the table and on a 5-match losing run, you must feel as though everything goes against you. And
yeah, you feel as if the world's against you, don't you, when things like that happen? But it's the way of the game.
2 minutes into the 5, Burnley have a throw in line with the penalty box. Chow near post with Esteve. They go back into midfield and look for Foster at the back post.
Didn't gamble, did he?
He just hung back and it bounced in the 6-yard box and went behind.
Yeah, he didn't take a chance, didn't want to get himself in there. Gonna cross everybody, got past everybody, and he's caught on his heels.
Malik Chow coming forwards for Newcastle, who've got it with Willett. That's a great ball to get them 30 yards up the pitch. Ilanga on the outside, cleared. It was good work on approach to the final third. Not the best delivery, but still alive. Fabian Schär, did he handle that?
He did handle it.
He stumbled. Yeah, referee had to think about it and has brought it back. He stumbled
and put his hand on it. The referee waited and waited.
Free kick for Burnley for handball by Schär.
Delayed reaction from the referee.
Closing in on 250 appearances, Fabian Schär. This is 244th. Such great service to Newcastle, hasn't he? Over what is almost 8 years. Baltamada chasing a ball back to the goalkeeper. Dubravka puts his foot on it. Everton have gone 2-0 up against Nottingham Forest, and it's the young striker Tierno Barry who had one disallowed against Newcastle last week. Had a tough afternoon. He's got his first goal for them. Colin White in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio. We'll go through all the scores at half-time. Still 2-0 to Man City against Sunderland. And Newcastle, could they get a second before the break? Bruno scoring direct from a corner kick to give them the lead. Lots of space now for Gordon. Walker comes to close him down in the final minute of the first half additional time. Gordon on the outside. The cross towards Baltamada. Appeals for handball. Strong appeals for handball, but nothing given. Bruno's chasing after the referee. Burnley up to the halfway line. Dan Burns slides in. Bruno now in midfield with a couple of challenges. Collins got it. They might have to go back to that and review it. Now, referee says stop and wait. VAR's going to take a look. Was it handball following the Gordon cross? Uga Chukwu, he might have been leaning into it. You need to see from another angle. Ooh, maybe. The referee's going to the screen.
Now you know what this means, don't you?
Looks like it hit the top of his hand. Looks like his hands are out together and it's hit the top of them.
Penalty.
Burnley will be... they'll be absolutely sick if this is given, and if Newcastle score. Baltamada and Gordon are there. They're going to, one of them or both of them will have to get ready. But Gordon seems to be the designated penalty taker, potentially. Uga Chukwu, yeah, that's it's clear handball. Be very surprised if this isn't given. Stuart Atwell, the referee, is going to announce a decision to the crowd. He's come away from the monitor on the far side of St James's Park. Newcastle 1-0 up here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Will they get a penalty? They will get a penalty. Leslie Uga Chukwu, it hit his hand. He was facing his own goal. There were players around him. Penalty given to Newcastle United in first half added on time, actually beyond the additional period that was allotted. We're now into the 52nd minute of a first half that has Burnley down to 10 men. Newcastle 1-0 up, scoring from a corner direct from Bruno Guimaraes, and now Anthony Gordon's got a penalty to take.
Yeah, His hands are up in the air. Hit him on the hand, and once he goes to the screen, it's always going to be a penalty, isn't it?
They were adamant, the Newcastle players nearby, that it should have been a penalty immediately, and it took a VAR review. It's hard for the referee to see, impossible for him to see, but it's been given. And Anthony Gordon, who scored from the spot against Spurs on Tuesday, faces Martin Dubravka to double Newcastle's lead this afternoon against the team second bottom of the table and with 10 men. Lee's end of St James's Park, surely the last kick of the half. Gordon is ready, so's the referee. Dubravka bouncing up and down on his line. Anthony Gordon exhales, waits, now comes forward, sends Dubravka the wrong way, bottom left corner of the goal. Newcastle United have a 2-0 lead, Ando.
Yeah, quality penalty, wasn't it? He's just whipped it across Dubravka. Dubravka goes one way, ball goes the other. Back of the net, ripples, 2-0. Game, set, match.
Burnley are going to kick off, but that will probably signal the end of the half. Newcastle players coming back to their half of the pitch. Bruno punching the air with two fists. They were all celebrating together in the corner. And they will, John Anderson, end this half with a comfortable 2-0 lead, a man advantage. But it started in a really uncomfortable way because Burnley were all over them for the first few minutes, and then maybe when you look back at the opening 20-25 as a whole, with some corner kicks that put Newcastle under real pressure, they had to defend, and it wasn't comfortable at times, was it? They've kicked off Burnley. Stuart Atwell blows for half time, but you know, with a bit of help from decisions, they've managed to get themselves in front and should go on and win well now.
I mean, you would say that the game's over down to 10 men. We spoke about Burnley beforehand and said, what have they got that's going to hurt you in those forward areas of the pitch? And there's nothing in that forward area that's going to, that you've seen in the 45 minutes that's going to hurt. Burnley have worked hard, they've tried hard, but it's just that quality that we've got, you know, and quality always comes out on top. A little bit fortunate with the first one, goes straight in, penalty as well, but we haven't had to be great, to be quite honest. And a 2-0 up, playing against 10 men, kicking down the hill, you would think that they'll go on and they'll win it comfortably.
Half time, Newcastle United 2, Burnley 0.
Hi, I'm Inez Gallagher. It was definitely the summer of Oasis. Back together and playing sold-out shows across the UK and beyond. My series Mad for Oasis on BBC Sounds has given me the chance to hear and share stories of how Oasis music has changed people's lives.
His influence gave me the chance to be me.
It's a collection of stories from the fans told by the fans.
I was thinking, is he having a laugh?
This Christmas, join me as I revisit some of those stories.
Well, I was absolutely buzzing.
Mad for Oasis with me, Inez Gallagher.
Tuesday the 30th of December from 9. Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, that took a while to finish, but there we are. Half-time, Newcastle United leading Burnley, by 2-0. Sunderland 2-0 down at Manchester City at half-time. We will hand back separately, so we'll be back to Sunderland in about 6 or 7 minutes' time. A little bit longer before Newcastle's second half gets underway, but we'll be back with both commentary teams, of course, for full coverage of the second half. Elsewhere in the Premier League this afternoon then, Arsenal's second defeat of the season came in the early game in the Premier League. Emi Buendia in the 95th minute giving Aston Villa a 2-1 victory. In the 3 o'clock games, Bournemouth against Chelsea is goalless. Bournemouth have had a goal disallowed. Everton are 2-0 up on Nottingham Forest. Milinkovic's own goal after 2 minutes, and then Tierno Barry finally scoring for Everton, his first of his Everton career, in the 3rd minute of injury time. We know that Manchester City are 2-0 up on Sunderland, and we know that Newcastle are 2-0 up on 10-man Burnley. Spurs are also 2-0 up at home to Brentford with Richarlison and Xavi Simons. The 5:30 kickoff is Leeds against Liverpool.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into the Championship, there were 3 early games. Charlton against Portsmouth was abandoned because of a medical emergency in the crowd, but the other 2 games played to a finish. Leicester won 3-1 at Derby County. They were 3-0 up after half an hour, and Watford beat Norwich by 3-2. They'd been 2-1 down at half-time as well. At half-time in all the 3 o'clock games then, Ohashi's given Blackburn a 1-0 lead over Sheffield Wednesday. Goalless between Bristol City and Millwall. Ipswich, though, lead Coventry, the leaders, long runaway leaders in the Championship, by 1-0. Wrexham 1-0 up at Preston thanks to Kiefer Moore. Jonathan Varane has given Queen's Park Rangers a 1-0 lead over West Brom at half-time. That came in the 4th minute of injury time. Sheffield United 3-0 up on Stoke. McGuinness, Sariki and Patrick Bamford just before half-time. Southampton lead Birmingham 2-0. Finn Azaz and Adam Armstrong, formerly of Newcastle, and Swansea are also 2-0 up on Oxford United.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC podcast
On BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Very few EFL games beyond the Championship today. Cardiff beat Huddersfield by 3-2 in League One. Davis getting the winner in the 86th minute. Bradford won 1-0 away at Plymouth, and Anton Sarcevic penalty, the only goal of that game. And one game in League Two finished goalless between Colchester and Gillingham.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
So few League One and League Two games because it is the second round of the FA Cup. At half-time, Accrington Stanley lead Mansfield by 1-0. Chelmsford against Weston-super-Mare is goalless, a game between two sides in National League South. Buxton of National League North are winning 2-1 at League Two Cheltenham. At half-time, Exeter lead Wickham 1-0. No goals between Fleetwood and Luton Town. Grimsby, though, of League Two are 3-0 up on National League Wealdstone. At half-time, they were 3-0 up inside the first 25 minutes. MK Dons 1-0 up on Oldham. Peterborough and Barnsley are goalless. So too are Port Vale and Bristol Rovers and Stockport County and Cambridge. Swindon, though, lead Bolton by 1-0. An early penalty in that one. James Carragher, who is the son of Jamie Carragher, has put Wigan 1-0 up on Barrow at half-time. There are 2 games later on today as well. Of course, we've got Gateshead tomorrow afternoon, but at 5:15, Sutton United against Shrewsbury. Then at 7:30, Chesterfield against Doncaster.
Total Sport North East.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into non-league then, just time to tell you that Hartlepool are 1-0 down at home to Yeovil at half-time. No game for Carlisle, and of course no game for Gateshead because they are in FA Cup action tomorrow. Leaders in National League North, South Shields losing by 1-0 at half-time at home to Kidderminster Harriers. In the NPL Premier Division, Hebburn are 1-0 up at Hebburn are 1-0 down at Hyde United, but Morpeth are 1-0 up on Prescott Cable's Will Dowling after 23 minutes. In the East Division, Blythe Town's game at home to Newton Aycliffe was postponed. Dunstan drawing 1-1 at Ossett United at half-time. They'd been 1-0 down, but Alex Petrovic got them back on level terms just before half-time. No goals in the other 2 games in that division. Heaton Stannington against Brighouse and Blythe Spartans away at Bradford Park Avenue. But our feature match of the day is the Isuzu FA Vars third round tie. We've only got one side left in the competition. North Shields at home to Liversedge. Paul Dixon can tell us how it looks at half-time.
It's North Shields 1, Liversedge 1, and what a great game we've seen for 45 minutes here, Colin. Been absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Shields should have been 3-0 up in the first 20 minutes. Great chances from Nelson Ofawibi, and then a chance by Rhys Wanless, and then Nelson again. Could have been 3-0 up to North Shields, but it wasn't. And then on the break, 23 minutes, Liversedge, against the run of players, I would say, went ahead. And what a goal it was. Alex Woolerton, wide on the right, just clipped the ball high into the roof of the net, giving the Shields keeper no chance at all. And then 2 minutes later, Liversedge could have went 2-0 up. 30-yard shot by Chris Atkinson, cannoned up the foot of the post and was cleared. And then on 31 minutes, Shields deserved to level the score. Connor on the left was flicked on by Anderson to Nelson, who headed into the corner of the net to level the score. It's a terrific first half, some wonderful football on a wet pitch, but Shields very much still in this game, Colin. 1-0 at half-time.
Thank you, Paul. There is not a pitch in the northeast that's not wet this afternoon. We will do our local football roundup at 5:45.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
I am in Durham Christmas Market as part of the Durham Christmas Festival, and I'm joined now by Ben the Spoon Man. We probably have to explain exactly what a spoon man is.
It's nothing kinky. I make things out of cutlery for a living.
How many times do people make the two Ronnie's fork handle joke to you?
Oh, too many times. Too many times.
I'm not even going to do it. Because I can sense, Ben, the hatred in your eyes.
You could see, absolutely.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Right then, Sunderland are 2-0 down at Manchester City at half-time. Because their first half finished much earlier, we're going to hand back to them separately. So if you want to listen to Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett's second half commentary of Manchester City against Sunderland, it's on DAB Digital Radio and Freeview Channel 711. And if you are listening on those media, then we will hand over to them now. But if you are still listening to us on FM, it is Newcastle United who are 2-0 up on Burnley at half-time, and that second half is not going to resume for another 6 or 7 minutes at least. So we'll run through a couple of other things before we head back to Razor and Ando. In Rugby Union, the Newcastle Red Bulls kick off their European campaign tonight. They take on the French side Lyon in the European Challenge Cup. At 5:30 tonight, there will be commentary with Dean Gray via the BBC Sport website and app. And at the end of day 3 in the second Ashes test in Brisbane, England's cricketers heading towards defeat that would give Australia a 2-0 lead in the best-of-5 series. Australia were eventually bowled out for 511 in their first innings this morning. That gave them a lead of 171. But at the end of the day's play, England's second innings, 134 for 6. It means they are 43 runs behind still and just 4 wickets remaining. Here's some reaction from Test Match Special. You can hear from the former England captain Michael Vaughan, the BBC commentator Jonathan Agnew, and a former Australia bowler, Glenn McGrath.
This one way of playing and this ultra-aggressive drive on the up at all costs when the ball's just doing a little bit, it doesn't work. It doesn't work consistently against the better sides, and Australia have given England an exhibition today of how to play the pink ball game.
Yeah, it's just incredibly deflating, disappointing to sit and watch England making the same mistakes. And you're right, Michael. You could predict entirely how certain players are going to get out. That's what's disappointing, and that those players don't seem to be learning. And I was saying at breakfast today, none of these players are being put under any pressure by anybody else in the squad. There is no culpability. There is no ramification. There's no question of anybody being dropped, apart from Pope, who's got sort of Bethel in the wings. He's not scoring any runs either. There's nobody else. There's nobody to put pressure on any of these players.
I love seeing sports people go out and play without fear. But when you're trying to get rid of pressure, you've got to absorb and play under pressure, and there's got to be accountability. Accountability from team, from the support staff, the coaching staff, but accountability from yourself and from within the team. And that's where I think it's a little bit lacking. They go out, there's no negativity. So that, firstly, I'm not a big fan of, and sort of they need to adapt and adjust to the conditions. That was the first thing. You've mentioned that best opportunity to beat Australia, the first test. All of a sudden you come here, 3 of the main bowlers aren't even bowled. Oh, best opportunity, and yet they're so far behind. But what this test showed is their inexperience in playing pink ball cricket, day-night cricket. You can keep saying, this is the style we play, we're changing test cricket, how good are we? But it'll come down to the results on the board, and if England lose this test match and they go 2-0 down, it's a long way back.
It is indeed. They will resume in the early hours of tomorrow morning, but England trailing Australia by 43 runs at 134 for 6. They are in their second innings. In snooker, the semi-finals of the UK Championship now well underway in York. In fact, the first semi-final might not be too long before it finishes, because Judd Trump is now 5 frames to 3 up on Neil Robertson. It is 1st to 6. Judd Trump, the defending champion. The second semi-final starts at 7 o'clock tonight. Sean Murphy taking on Mark Selby. In Formula 1, Max Verstappen has taken pole position for tomorrow's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the title-deciding race. McLaren's Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri will start 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Finishing in the top 3 would be enough for Lando Norris to win his first world title, but Max and Oscar can both steal it away from him. Elsewhere in the Premier League, just before we hand back to Newcastle, then Aston Villa beat Arsenal earlier on with a 95th minute winner. Bournemouth Chelsea's goalless at half-time. Everton 2-0 up on Nottingham Forest. Manchester City 2-0 up on Sunderland, and Spurs are 2-0 up on Brentford. Newcastle United are also 2-0 up at home to Burnley at half-time. Burnley going to play the whole of the second half with at most 10 men as well. Let's rejoin then our commentary team for full coverage of the second half. That is Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And a packed 6-yard box as players make their move. Bruno fires it in! Bruno scored straight from the corner! Well, we said his delivery was good the other night. It's even better this time. Bruno Guimaraes, direct from a corner kick. Beyond his old colleague Martin Dubravka, has given Newcastle United the lead in what's been an awkward half an hour. Well, it's been funny game so far, and it's a curious goal. You don't see many of those, but Bruno has scored again, his 5th of the season. Newcastle United 1, Burnley 0. Surely the last kick of the half. Gordon is ready, so's the referee. Dubravka bouncing up and down on his line. Anthony Gordon exhales, waits, now comes forward, sends Dubravka the wrong way. Bottom left corner of the goal. Newcastle United have a 2-0 lead, Ando.
Yeah, quality penalty, wasn't it?
Total Sport Northeast.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
The players have arrived for the second half. Burnley have brought on a defender, centre-back Joe Worrell, who had a long association with his boyhood club Nottingham Forest before joining Burnley last summer. He is on, and they've taken off the striker Lyle Foster. Newcastle, no changes. Ramsdale in goal, Livramento, Chow, Cher, Burn. Midfield of Willock, Bruno, Ramsey, Elanga, Gordon and Baltamada, the other players in the front three. Burnley, and it seems as though they're going to play maybe with a 3 centre halves, or a back 5 if you want to look at it like that. Dubravka in goal. If it's a 5 at the back, Walker, Ekdal, Worrell, Esteve and Brun Larsen. Midfielders, Ugachukwu, who conceded the penalty, Cullen and Florentino Luis, with Broya up front. Second half is underway on BBC Radio Newcastle and the Newcastle United website and app. Remember, Sunderland away at Man City on DAB and Freeview channel 711. Gordon on the attack straight from the kickoff. To good looking cross from Dubravka. Steady. Has had to climb and claw it away from the crossbar.
Thought he pushed it into his own net.
I think we all did from your reaction there. They've taken a quick corner on the far side. It's back with Bruno, who's planted it straight onto the head of Worrell.
Livramento won't hit it.
Gets the ball down under control. Back out to Bruno. Driven in. Sliced clearance from Worrell, who's done 2 bits of defending there since coming on. He's just a big centre back, isn't he? Who will be physical and try and give them some organisation with 10 players. With Lucas Pires, the left back, sent off for bringing down Elanga just outside the box in the first half. Throw taken on the right by United. Bruno for Willock, who lets it run. A low first time cross, that could be handball again.
It's by your side. It's by your side.
Supporters more than players appeal. It was Brun Larsen. Good run here from Broya, but stopped by Bruno just past halfway. Back to Ramsdale, who leaves his box. Forwards onto Livramento. And Joe Willock for Newcastle United. On the bench, Ruddy, Hall, Joelinton, Tonali, Wissa for the first time, Barnes, Jacob Murphy, Alex Murphy, Miley. Burnley substitutes, Weiss the goalkeeper, Hartman, Edwards, Anthony, Chauna, Fleming, Laurent and Trezor. Elanga level with the edge of the box for Willock, inside now to Cher. Newcastle pushed right up, Burnley all within 25 yards of their goal. Newcastle coming back with it now. Gordon to Ramsey, back on to Gordon, and now Bruno looking for Willock, chested down in the box. It was really powerfully driven into the area by Bruno. Willock did well to get anything on it. There's still on the attack and just making Burnley concentrate and defend here. Elanga miscontrols. Ugachukwu out to the far touchline, dispossessed by United. Burn now to Gordon. Fabian Schär with a touch and a pass rolled out to Livramento, inside to Willock, flicked to Bruno in the middle. Now Schär. Baltamada comes deep to get it, takes a touch, holds it up, drags it away, and shows good skill. And the pass was intended for Livramento, but Willock took it under control on its way to Livramento. And Elanga receives it, then plays it to Livramento, out on the touchline, back to Schär. Swept inside to Chow. Burn to Bruno. Over the top from Chow, too strong for Gordon. Feel that second half could be a lot like what we've just witnessed there, Ando.
Yeah,
like attack versus defence.
Yeah, very much so. Burnley will be camped in. They'll get people behind the ball and just try to keep it as respectable as they can, because it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get out. I mean, it was hard enough when they were at 11 players to try and get out, but down to 10 men, it could be a long 50 minutes or so for them.
Dubravka with a goal kick, it's long through the middle. Breuer coming off the left wing to try and head it, but Chow away. Worrell there, forwards. Ramsey over the top, and Worrell heads it back towards his keeper, who had to stretch and then pull it back in towards his body, with Elanga chasing after the back pass. Whatever you do, you don't want Elanga chasing you.
Oh, you can't keep doing that though, son.
Burnley give it away to Burn, then it's up to Gordon, but difficult for him to control, and Newcastle without it at the moment. Brun Larsen on the near side, going back towards his own box, whips it into the middle with a pass to Ugachukwu, laid off there by Breuer. Ugachukwu away from Ramsey, then Willock, brought back for handball by Ramsey. No real
is
advantage
this referee
to Burnley.
in delay mode, is he?
For handballs, the Schär one earlier. Just don't think there was an advantage there, because Ugachukwu then got away from Ramsey, but Willock won it back. Cullen straight onto the head of Burn. Ramsey back. It's behind Burn. He's trying to prevent a corner, which he has, but given away to Ugachukwu, edge of the area. Now Cullen straight at Ramsdale. Back pass. Rolled out to Ramsey. Up to Baltamada, who lets it run. Brun Larsen comes the other side. Not really his game, is it? Baltamada, that sort of thing. Cullen behind the centre circle, forwards to Ugachukwu. Played against Newcastle last season, Leslie Ugachukwu for Southampton while on loan from Chelsea. And cost just over 20 million in the summer. 21 years old. Didn't really play that much for Chelsea. Malik Chow onto Anthony Gordon, left wing, gets away from Walker, he's got the pace to beat him, but then Gordon stood on the ball and Walker's able to get back in and make a challenge. Laurentino Luis, Antino Livramento gets it back for Newcastle. Then he's lost it to Ugachukwu and pulled him back and brought him down.
Yellow card.
Livramento's going to get booked. Did brilliantly initially to win it. Tried to go on an attack, lost the ball, and then committed a foul. Murphy and Barnes sent out to warm up. In the 6th minute of the second half. The score is as it was at the break, 2-0 to Newcastle. There's a problem here. Referee's coming over to the side of the pitch. He's got a yellow card out. It's going to be for Jason Tyndall, I think. Do you know what I think this is for? I think it's because he keeps going out to the touchline with Eddie Howe. The fourth official, Sam Allison, has been incredibly fussy about that, whereas some officials don't enforce the rule.
Have they not told them they're allowed to do it every other week?
Burnley free kick floated towards the penalty box. Free kick for Newcastle. Livramento was... Is it a free kick?
Yeah.
Yeah, Livramento. Just no fanfare at all about any of that. The ball into the box and very quiet sounding of the whistle. Gordon's running in behind. Burn's ball, it's inviting for Gordon. Sending him to the corner. He's kept it in. Great work. Back to Ramsey, corner of the penalty area. Ramsey has to twist and turn. Finds Dan Burn. Back out wide to Anthony Gordon. Through ball, but it's behind.
Yeah, it was never on, was it? Too tight. Really confined area. It was going to have to be really, really precise. Should have just whipped it in. But yet again, they get in behind, don't they? Using the pace of Gordon down that left side. Walker exceptionally quick in his day, but like everything, time catches up with you. How about that referee?
Free kick for Burnley, Fabian Schär.
I don't know what Scher's complaining of. He's just taking it.
It was a challenge on Broja, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's just jumped all over him.
Another summer signing from Chelsea, 20 million. For the Albanian over the summer. Lewis Hall now joins the players warming up. Cullen floated to the edge of the area. Burn stands and heads away. And Burnley lift it back in. Ramsdale gathers a bouncing ball, edge of the 6-yard box.
When teams play against us, for the life of me, when they get free kicks, I cannot understand why they keep trying to hit Dan Burn. You'd want to keep it away from him, wouldn't you?
You'd think so, especially when he doesn't have to do anything. Doesn't have to move, just had to stand still there. Livramento from halfway, back to Schär. Gordon is free. Schär finds him with one of his trademark crossfield balls. Middle of Burnley's half of the pitch. Newcastle shooting to the right to the Gallagher end, second half. Chow to Schär. Voltemada on the move at the edge of the area. They've given it to Elanga. Taking on Brun Larsen, goes on the outside, wins a corner.
Yeah, it's what you want to see him do more of, isn't it? Have a go at fullbacks.
Newcastle 6 Premier League wins in a row against Burnley. Looks like it's going to be 7 today. They'd like to win it by a few more, up against 10 men. Willock to Bruno. That's deep.
Tried to do the keeper again.
Goal kick. Missed the far post. Just overhit by Bruno. Dubravka going long towards Walker on halfway, but he can't control it properly, and it's a throw for Dan Burn to take. Just inside his own half. Last Premier League encounter, Miguel Almiron scored a great goal, curler into the top corner, and Isak got a penalty as well a couple of seasons ago. Here's Cullen, sent back into his own box and has to give it to the goalkeeper. Broja and Schär collide. Livramento back to Ramsdale. Livramento's off the pitch, saying that Broja fouled him. And he stayed down. Referee is trying to just keep everything calm. And did he catch him late there after it was played? There was a little bit of contact. Timo Livramento is still down. The physio is along the touchline. Newcastle United 2, Burnley 0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Fourth official has gone along to check on matters. Referee goes back into the middle of the pitch. I think because he was off the field, Livramento. Obviously he was clever there. He was able to come straight back on and didn't require treatment, obviously. He's limping. Don't have any fullbacks really. He's got the... Joe Willock's played it ahead of him. Didn't want the ball, Livramento. Willock overhit it anyway. Throw, which is on halfway for Burnley with Jakob Brun-Larsen. They might want to think about taking him off.
Who?
Livramento, just when you think about rotation, since he's come back from injuries, had a lot of football. It was something that the manager talked about yesterday in his pre-match press conference, not being able to give him any sort of breather without Trippier and Kraft both missing till later this month. Gordon, step over on the far side, then a turn, outside hook, and a great ball up the line for Burn. Baltimore's offside. Started to make his move, then stopped. Now the flag's gone up because he belatedly went to chase after Martin Dubravka, who left his box to get the ball, which Burn had whipped up the line. 2-0 the score, almost played an hour. They're comfortably in front, but you'd like them to increase their lead, John Anderson, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you don't want them to do anything silly. I mean, 2-0, it's comfortable. You don't need to go chasing things. You want to preserve a bit of energy as well with the amount of games that you've got. So you don't need to go chasing.
Lewis Hall's come back to the bench. Let's see if there's going to be a change. Livramento away. Baltimore laid off to Bruno. Back to Baltimore. Bruno inside, swept on towards Ramsey, but Ekdal for Burnley just got there in the nick of time. And they play it to Walker in space on the far side of the pitch. Kyle Walker comes back inside. Cullen sweeps it into the area. Broya, it's a weak header.
It's a weak header.
Easy for Ramsdale. Now Joe Willock. Elanga running. Willock. Oh, he didn't play it. Elanga wanted it early to run onto in behind.
Yeah, but he ran too straight. That was the problem.
So Willock protected the ball and has it again in central midfield after Newcastle went out to the far left side. He gets it. Elanga from Willock this time. Brun-Larsen and Florentino Luis in front of him. Elanga has just overrun it. Ball into the centre. Malik Chow flicks it through his legs onto Jacob Ramsey. Could have hit it. Elanga towards Willock, who was just ahead of the ball. Now Livramento wrestles it back from Broya. Newcastle 2-0 up. Manchester City 3, Sunderland 0 at the Etihad Stadium. Commentary on DAB from BBC Radio Newcastle and Freeview Channel 711 if you want that game, as Elanga has another chance to take on his man. Great ball in from Elanga. That's what we want to see more of.
Ball.
Baltimore just missed it. That's terrific wing play. Shifted it and whipped it in. Goalkeeper couldn't come, and Baltimore very close to connecting with a header, just couldn't quite get there. Lewis Miley and Lewis Hall are coming on shortly. Chow on the diagonal for Anthony Elanga, who takes a touch. He's in the corner here, goes on the outside again. Burnley head it clear. Here's Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno! That would have been a majestic goal. It's a corner because Martin Dubravka's made a brilliant save. He went to curl it into the far top corner with the outside of his right boot. He's certainly capable, and it was really close. They loved that from Bruno. Dan Burn coming off, Lewis Hall leaving the pitch. Lewis Miley is coming on for Joe Willock. How do you think Willock's played today? I thought he was really good in the first half.
He's done okay. He's been busy. He's wanted to get on the ball.
Willock, slow walk across to the touchline. He'll be disappointed not to complete 90 minutes. Miley is on. Eddie Howe goes over to Willock, gives him a pat on the back.
He doesn't look happy, does he?
It's been unlucky to be coming off, but Miley is on, straight into the middle for this corner from Bruno. Dubravka makes a save near post. Another corner kick. That was a low one that bounced towards the goal. Someone guided it.
Everybody missed it near post.
Jacob Ramsey, was it? Did he guide it towards the goal? They've taken the corner, then they're going to send it in again. Burnley head it out, and it's a throw next to the corner flag. All on that far left-hand side at the east stand. 2-0 up. Lewis Hall to Anthony Gordon. Bruno's inside. Livramento available as well. Bruno takes it on and then goes out to Gordon. Now Hall. Ramsey exchanges passes with Hall. Finds Livramento. Cher is on the right wing as Miley plays it back to Livramento. Burnley able to push up a bit. Ramsey now for Gordon. Can run at Walker, can't he? He's cut inside. Gordon found Jacob Ramsey. Ramsey over the top.
Yeah.
He knows it's a big chance.
Doesn't he?
Beating his hand off the floor.
Got his feet tied up, didn't he?
So frustrated with himself for not at least hitting the target. Burnley substitution. Josh Laurent, midfielder. He's played in all of the top 5 divisions after coming up into the Premier League with Burnley this season. Got him from Stoke, previously at Hartlepool, among others. That's the Burnley change. And it's Florentino Luis who's gone off. Ramsdale's got the ball from the goal kick. .65 played. Gordon. Fabian Cher with the ball. Gordon now takes it down on the far touchline. Beats the defender. Ramsey in the middle. Looking for Voltemada. Headed away by Burnley. Out to the Newcastle left wing. Bruno to Gordon. Back to Bruno. Looking for space. Gordon as Dubravka comes out. And the goalkeeper makes a big block. Corner kick again for Newcastle.
Yeah, just turning the screw. Burnley just can't get out.
Ball back in play. Fabian Cher following the corner, which was cleared from the penalty area, has volleyed it behind, missed the goal. Do you remember that long-range screamer he scored against Burnley? And it was in the Rafa Benitez era. It was at the other end. He's done it before in this fixture, but that time was well off target. Cher comes to win a header there. He's played it straight against Lewis Miley and hurt himself actually, Fabian Cher. Chow then with a clearance for Gordon. Back to Ramsdale. And they'll play their way forwards along the floor. Cher back to the goalkeeper, holding his right hip. Chow to Miley, closed down. Now Cher, he slipped as he's played that. Voltemada's come to get it. Miley, Elanga was possibly the ball, but Miley couldn't release it. He's found Elanga this time, flicks it inside. Livramento back to Anthony Elanga, beats a couple of challenges. Lewis Hall now, they're on the left with Gordon, inside to Hall. Voltemada's in the D. They get Elanga in on the left wing. Burnley with a clearance. Broja here surrounded by black and white shirts. Referee's giving him a free kick. Bruno with the challenge that the referee says constitutes a foul. And they leave it for Martin Dubravka. 179 appearances for Newcastle United. before departing in the summer. Beaten by a corner kick. Bruno scoring direct from the corner to make it 1-0, and then sent the wrong way by Anthony Gordon from the penalty spot. 2 first half goals, and now we are midway through the second half. There's a Burnley cross from the right. Livramento is going to deal with that, and a long ball up the pitch. Anthony Elanga trying to chase onto it, well defended by Maxime Esteve.
Tell you what, it's a good ball in by Walker, but there's nobody in Claret in there, is there? They just haven't got the numbers to be able to get in there.
Reduced to 10 men, Burnley. Lucas Pires, left back, sent off for bringing down Elanga on the edge of the box when he was in. Gordon, oh, he's away from Walker again. Walker comes back to close down. Gordon back down the line to Ramsey. Bruno, Ramsey, Hall in the middle, giving away Livramento. Oh, he doesn't want to shoot.
He doesn't, does he?
Miley to Bruno. Livramento was edge of the area but decided to pass. He can cross here maybe. He's played it to Miley. Lots of short little balls from Newcastle and movement around the penalty area. Bruno with it this time. His through ball cut out by the substitute Laurent. He's trying to power his way through the middle. Ramsdale comes and gets this, and it's Cher back to Ramsdale. BBC Radio Newcastle. If you fancy a chat about the match or any other Newcastle topics after the game, call us now. 0800 234 6565. That's 0800 234 6565. You can talk to John Anderson, and we'll be with you till 6 with some reaction from here and from Sunderland away at Man City. 3-0 to City at the moment. Also have the non-league roundup, and tomorrow on BBC Radio Newcastle from 3:30. build-up starts at 3. Gateshead's FA Cup second round tie against Walsall from the International Stadium with Colin White and Paul Dixon. Livramento on a run on the outside and manages to get a throw off Esteve near the corner flag. You can also listen to the Gateshead match tomorrow on BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website and app.
It's all one-way traffic, isn't it?
But you would like more goals. Bruno for Miley. This is Gordon outside the penalty box, receives it again from Hall. He's played it against Uga Chukwu, and Broja here trying to take it out wide right. There's a throw, it's gone the way of Burnley. Johan Wissa has gone out to warm up again. Do you think that this is the right time for Wissa?
Yeah, in this type of game, down to 10 men. Yeah, totally on top. Get him a bit of game time. You just think it's tailor-made, don't you?
I suppose the other argument would be that they're comfortable.
Oh, very.
And he's just back. Eddie Howe said yesterday Wissa wasn't yet 100%. He might only get 100% by playing. But
I tell you, it's going to be a while before he's 100% because of the length of time that he's out. And you've got to remember
3 months
that he didn't really get a pre-season into him either. It was a stop-start pre-season as well.
Yeah. Gordon from the left wing, but deep, trying to play it in behind for Voltemada. Newcastle lose the ball. Uga Chukwu to halfway. Cullen intercepted by Miley. Cullen then makes amends by diverting it back to another claret and blue shirt. So Eddie Howe, may be minded to leave Wissa on the bench, take him to Germany for Bayer Leverkusen away on Wednesday, but he'll get a great reception if he comes on. Scored 2-2 for Democratic Republic of Congo in September before he got injured. Newcastle 2-0 ahead. Laurent to a tall centre forward Broja on the left wing. Deep ball into the box. Lewis Hall climbs, beats Kyle Walker in the air. Gordon now taking it back towards his own penalty box, to the feet of Chow. Bruno wide to Gordon, back inside to Bruno. Obviously they have this space because they've got the extra man, and Bruno's pass between Burnley players to Livramento. Elanga giving Newcastle width, receiving it from Livramento. Baltimore the far side of the box. Elanga, what will he do? Bruno's joined the attack, has received it. Lewis Hall, he could hit this but doesn't. It's Gordon, corner of the penalty area. He's hit one and clipped the top of the crossbar.
Great effort.
Anthony Gordon this afternoon has scored a penalty, hit the post and now hit the bar.
Great effort. Thought Hall was going to hit it, but instead he's moved it on to Gordon, and Gordon whipped it, smacked the crossbar. Unlucky.
That roar is because there are Newcastle changes. One of them sees Anthony Gordon come off for Joe Linton, and the other, Nick Baltimore's getting a break, and Johan Wissa with the number 9 shirt is about to appear for the very first time as a Newcastle United player. Transfer deadline day signing from Brentford, comes on against Burnley. Roared onto the field. It's been a long time coming, but Eddie Howe obviously took the view that you did, John Anderson. 74 minutes, Wissa on.
Yeah, it's ideal. It's ideal again. You know, they're well on top.
Burnley have a player down. Livramento tries to come up the right wing. Wins a throw. Broya's just going to have to pick himself up eventually. Referee didn't want to give him a free kick, and he's able to carry on.
Doesn't get the free kick, so he gets up and starts running around.
It's happened a couple of times actually today from both teams. Whoa. That's a foul on Bruno by Broya. He's, having appeared to be hurt, he's able to get up and commit a foul. And there's a bit of anger from Newcastle about the challenge.
It's not bad.
Malik Chow leading the protests. They lead 2-0. Now we'd like to hear from you about today's game. You can even give us some thoughts about the derby, the Champions League in midweek, whatever. Our WhatsApp number is 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333. You must start your message with the letters BBC. You can type out a message on WhatsApp or send us a voice note if you like. If it's a voice note, aim for around 30 seconds please, and we might play it out on the radio after the match. Free kick back to halfway. Livramento now to Elanga. Wissa is edge of the area. Livramento back to Cher, and cross halfway to Chow. Joe Linton playing it back to Hall. And they've still got Tonali, Barnes, the two Murphys on the bench. Here's a long ball forwards. Wissa not going to get it. Dubravka comes to the edge of the box to claim. Throws it out into midfield. Hugo Chukwu dispossessed. Oh, referee!
No. Not a chance. That's never a free kick. His touch is awful.
Bruno penalised.
Mind you, if I had been the other way, I would have wanted a free kick.
It's one we haven't seen back, but when they got it, they had a numerical advantage and they were about 30 yards from goal. 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes actually. 13 to play. Throw at left back for Newcastle from the long ball up the pitch after the free kick was given. Still time to boost the goal difference and record an even bigger win against 10 men. 2-0. Bruno and Gordon. This is Livramento inside to the captain. Plays it to his left to Chow. Ramsey.
15 yards inside the attacking half. Bruno at the centre circle. Short ball play to Miley. And with Elanga now approaching the edge of the box. Inside to Bruno. Joelinton to Elanga. Wissa spins away on the inside. Newcastle go back out to the right wing. Bruno beats his man. Still got it. Miley in the penalty area. Just ran into Burnley players. Uga Chukwu now to Brun Larsen, who brings it out wide. Chips it up the line. Chow covering. He's got Ramsdale available. Decides to turn, play it to Cher. Now it goes back to Ramsdale. It's a ball from Jacob Ramsey along halfway. Joelinton and Bruno involved in this move. Lewis Hall's pushed up and receives it. 20 yards out now. Hall to Joelinton, went for the returns, cut out by Ekdal. Joelinton's won it back. Here's Ramsey. Wissa's first touch. A ball back to Ramsey. And it's a goal kick. Went for the 1-2. Didn't quite come off.
No. Good touch though, wasn't it?
Everton 3-0 up on Nottingham Forest. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall scored again. Let's have a look at the other scores. Ando, I don't know how you've got signal. It's got a very good phone network.
Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, Everton 3, Forest 0, City 3, Sunderland 0, Spurs 2, Brentford 0.
Thank you. 5:30 is Leeds at home to Liverpool in the Premier League. Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle. Fabian Cher to Malik Chow, and they're coming forwards again. Jacob Ramsey on the far side. Wissa with a touch to try and control, then loses it, but then wins it back. Miley to Joelinton, inside to Bruno. Livramento has tucked inside here, gets it, plays it to Elanga. Step over, then across. Oh, Dubravka has to make a very good save because it came off a defender and was heading into the far side of the goal.
It was Maxime Esteve, comes off, flicks off his head, looks like it's heading for the top right hand corner. Keeper stretches, gets a hand to it, pushes it over the top. Good play again by Elanga. Drops his shoulder, does the fullback, dinks it in.
Bruno's going to take a corner. Well, we talked about this earlier on, didn't we? Has a player ever scored twice in the same match direct from a corner kick? I wonder if he'll try to do it again. In it comes. Dubravka punches this time.
Yeah, his positioning was better that time.
It didn't seem to be the type of ball that could have beaten him anyway. It seemed like it was going to drop in the 6-yard box. Ramsey on the left wing as Newcastle recycle the move. He slipped. Joelinton now back to Bruno, and Livramento again in that inverted position, more in midfield. Elanga stopped by Brun Larsen. Now Livramento delivers the cross. Ooh, Cher in front of Wissa, got up, but there isn't. Is there an offside?
Yeah, flag's gone up. Not too sure who was offside.
So free kick for Burnley. Do you think they'll be happy enough that they've kept the score down at 2-0? It's not been the most exhilarating second half. Been a couple of chances,
it's been attack against defence. They've worked hard, Burnley, but it's been the ideal game, I suppose.
Good header
with
won
the week that we've got ahead of us.
Yeah, good header won there by Miley. Wissa with a layoff to Bruno. Ramsey increasing the speed of Newcastle's play. Up the left side he goes into Hall, and now Bruno, who's been involved in everything. Here's Wissa back towards Bruno. Wissa again, edge of the area. Joelinton to Miley, has a touch, rolls it to Elanga, edge of the penalty area. Anthony Elanga with a curler.
Good effort.
Just wide of goal. Dubravka didn't get a touch as he dived across, and Anthony Elanga still seeking that first Newcastle goal.
Oh, it was a good effort, wasn't it? just didn't get enough bend on it. Dubravka's at full stretch and it's just gone inches wide of that right hand post.
In the 83rd minute on BBC Radio Newcastle. Here's our phone number again, 0800 234 6565. If you'd like to come on and talk to John Anderson after 5, 0800 234 6565. Long ball towards Broye, show nice control. Manages to win a throw on the far side. Interesting score in the Championship. The leaders Coventry 2-0 down at Ipswich. But you'd still back them to come up after the start they've made, wouldn't you? Here's Ramsey heading away from the throw. It's come across the Newcastle penalty box. Brun Larsen.
Oh, it's awful.
Lifted it in, but lifted it far too high. First half goals from Bruno and Gordon. I've got them in a very strong position as we head towards the final 5 minutes with Burnley down to 10 men. They're making a change shortly. Zian Fleming, Dutch striker, is their top scorer with 5, and Jaden Anthony, who's got 4 goals, now going to be coming on. Hall to Chow. Share with Ilanga just over halfway. That's up towards Miley in the middle. Powerfully hit pass, and Miley did well to control. Joelinton now for Jacob Ramsey, left wing. Still Ramsey, deep cross, but it's too far ahead of Wissa and Ilanga.
Unlucky.
Broye replaced by Zian Fleming, signed from Millwall, and Jakob Brun Larsen leaves the pitch. That's got a wing back in the second half. Anthony is on. He was at Bournemouth, Jaden Anthony, when Eddie Howe was there, but was a youth team player. Didn't make a senior appearance until Howe had gone, but they will know each other. He's been one of their most important players this season with 4 goals, but hasn't scored since September. Cher brings the ball under control, passes it to Chow. Joelinton under pressure in midfield to Hall, up the line to Ramsey, back inside to Hall, on to Joelinton, and they're in. Now Joelinton's cross. Oh, the defender backpedaling. Just Esteve stopped it from coming to Wissa in the middle of the box.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest ball, was it? Needed to be more decisive.
Ekdal gets it just outside the penalty area, had to take it out wide. They've gone back to Dubravka, looking for Anthony here. He's missed the ball. Challenge for it with Livramento. Scott Parker back out to shout some instructions. That's what Eddie Howe's doing as well in the Newcastle technical area to the right. 2-0 up, Sunderland 3-0 down at Manchester City. BBC Radio Newcastle. Post-match reaction from both and a phone to follow.
Well played.
Bruno across midfield to Joelinton after good play involving Miley. Ramsey. What do you think of Jacob Ramsey's performance today?
Good and bad, isn't it?
Should have scored.
Needs more game time, that's the thing.
Should have scored when he had that chance in the early in the second half. Put it over, which he knows.
Yeah, it wasn't the easiest chance. No. It wasn't a sitter.
No. His 11th appearance today. He's played in half of the matches this season. From a throw on the left, Ramsey back to Hall, Chow to Livramento, back to Cher. And Elanga gives it back to Cher again. Nothing silly from Newcastle in the 88th minute. Ramsey looked for Joelinton's run. It's stopped by an interception. And Laurent for Burnley. Miley chases him down. Anthony sends in the cross. Cher sends it away. Colin to Esteve. Here's Anthony. Weaving run.
Tied himself up in knots, didn't he?
Livramento has it back. Bruno to Livramento. Late challenge on Bruno. And a yellow card. Was it for Josh Laurent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Laurent.
I mentioned Coventry losing at Ipswich. It's now 3-0 to Ipswich. So that's a big result in the Championship. Referee's making a note on his book of the caution. And Bruno is chatting to him as Newcastle play the free kick back to Ramsdale. Final minute of the 90. They get a third. Hall, drop of the shoulder, can't get past Cullen. Ramsdale to Bruno. Laurent, it's a fair challenge on Bruno, but then Burnley with a cross. There's nobody in the middle. Cher back to the keeper. Long ball away from Ramsdale. Elanga. Oh, he's climbed and headed away from Esteve. And Esteve is 6'4". What's Elanga? 5'8".
He just totally mistimed it though, the big defender. He was never getting there. He's coming from 15 yards away.
Anyway, they sent it forwards, Burnley. Newcastle get a free kick. Fabian Cher. There'll be a minimum of 3 minutes at St James's Park. Walker wins it back on his chest in midfield. Cullen. Laurent to Anthony. Goes on the outside of Livramento, who slides in to concede a corner.
He's played well again today, hasn't he?
(2-0) is the score. Burnley have 10 men. Just need to make sure that there's nothing silly here. Wissa has come back. Stop laughing. Here's the corner.
Not laughing.
Oh. And it's sent into the middle and put wide by Worrell. The corner kick came across. It was headed back into the centre. Or was it Fleming? Fleming saying that there's handball in there. Worrell had the effort. The centre half. And totally misdirected it. Newcastle gifting Burnley a chance there. We're now into the second minute of the additional 3. You were laughing because there's been a red card at the Etihad Stadium.
Oh, he's gone to the screen, is he?
Referee's going to have a look now. There's more VAR. The red card at the Etihad Stadium is Sunderland's Luke O'Nien sent off. 3-0 down. Burnley might be about to get a penalty here.
Straight red.
Straight red.
It's not like O'Nien to go lunging into things, is it?
Well, we don't know what's happened.
I do, I've just read it.
Okay. This is why additional goals would have been more than useful, because now,
as long as it's taken,
in the second minute of a minimum of 3 additional at the end of the game, Burnley might be about to get a penalty for handball. Now, I don't know who the Newcastle player is, but the referee's had a look at the screen and we're about to find out the decision. Newcastle got one in the first half. Burnley might get one in the second half. Let's see. 2-0 up.
After review, Newcastle 41 deliberately handles the ball.
Penalty. Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, penalty. Penalty for Burnley.
And a yellow card.
Yellow card for Jacob Ramsey. Well, Aaron Ramsdale came on at Brentford. The first thing he did was face a penalty that was converted by Igor Thiago. But on his first Newcastle United appearance, he saved a penalty here against Espanyol in pre-season at this end of St James's Park, the Leazes end. Just seen the Ramsey thing again on the big screen, and it looks fair enough. His arm's out and he's motioned it towards the ball based on what we saw there. So deep in added on time, Sandro Tonali will be coming on in a second. We're into the 94th minute. There'll be a little bit more time to be played. Zian Fleming, he's not long been on for Burnley. I'm not sure you have confidence in him. Ramsdale's on his 6-yard line. Referee Stuart Atwell says get back. Fleming got 5 goals this season. He's respotting the ball. There was late drama against Spurs. Newcastle now have to protect their 2-0 lead. Fleming from the penalty spot against Ramsdale. Here we go. It's into the bottom corner as Ramsdale gets close, got across well, but the lead is halved. Newcastle United 2, Burnley 1 in added on time here at St James's Park. So this will be tense as Tonali is about to come on, and Marcus Edwards, the winger that they signed from Sporting Lisbon in January, he is brought on by Burnley for Hjalmar Ekdal, the centre-back. Tonali replaces Jacob Ramsey, who conceded the penalty and was yellow carded for it. What we don't know now, John Anderson, is with Newcastle 2-1 up against 10 men, how much time they'll play, because the penalty was given around about a minute into this additional period, but they said a minimum of 3, so we could have at least another 2 as the clock ticks on to 95.
Yeah.
Well, 2-0 was fine, but this is another test of game management, isn't it? And holding on to a lead. They cannot surely blow this. Wissa and Elanga on the attack. Burnley, they've given it away to Joelinton. Back to Hall in space. Tonali into the corner. Sandro Tonali. That'll be a free kick for Burnley.
A tactical free kick to give away. That's all right in that corner.
Taking it from about 10 yards further up the pitch from where the incident happened. Elanga, that's a good header on. Wissa climbing. Was he offside? No. Tonali lifts it over Walker up the left side of the pitch for Newcastle. Tonali heading for the corner. BBC Radio Newcastle 2-1 the score. Sandro Tonali, well, that is game management, just taking it into the corner. Burnley with a throw, trying to send it up to halfway. That could be handball. Chow's got it. Newcastle lead 2-1 against 10 men. Burnley having been awarded a penalty after a VAR check in added on time. Elanga just trying to slow things down, gets it back from Bruno. Wissa wants it. Johan Wissa might be in. Elanga's free. Wissa could go for goal or square it. Wissa chips it across the face of goal, and Elanga was just behind the ball when he played it. They've kept it alive. Maybe they could get a third with Bruno blocked, and it's come out for a Newcastle throw on this near side. Wissa was unselfish in the end, but maybe a bit indecisive, and perhaps that's a player who's been out for 3 months, on for his debut this afternoon. Could have sealed it there. The throw up the line from Livramento to Miley on the corner now in the near side of the pitch. Burnley header, then a clearance. Cher and Fleming collide. It's a free kick for Burnley, middle of their half. Referee blows his whistle, then looks at his watch and they're all on their way forwards. They've just taken off a tall centre-back to bring on a 5'6" winger, so they've lost a bit of height, but Martin Dubravka's going to launch this. Sunderland beaten at Manchester City with 10 men. Burnley at St James's Park with 10 men have come back into this, and Newcastle have got to hang on. Edge of the penalty area, Malik Chow header has come to Edwards. It's a dangerous cross.
Oh, he's missed this.
Wow, that's the final whistle.
What a chance right at the end.
Thank goodness for that. Newcastle have won, but it was almost a repeat of Tottenham Hotspur on Tuesday, in the sense of throwing away a lead. 2-0 up since half time against 10 men, and the cross there from Edwards towards the 6-yard box, and there were two in Burnley claret and blue who went up for it, and I'm not sure either of them got a touch. There might have been a foul on Cher actually, and Anthony at the back post couldn't turn it in. They've ended up hanging on here, clinging on, when they should have been, well, comfortable and well clear of Burnley. That was, I'm not even sure what the word is, that was unpleasant to go through at the end, but they've got across the line with 3 points, and it's a huge result, John Anderson.
Yeah, but it ended up not as comfortable as it should have been. I mean, cruising to 2-0, Burnley never looked capable of getting back into it. Then you give a silly penalty away, and then right at the death, they've had a huge chance, an absolutely massive chance. Game management again.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wissa got in shortly before that. Elanga found him. Wissa took it wide in the box. I think he could have gone for goal from that position. Fair enough, he's just come back from 3 months out. It's his first appearance as a substitute. But if he plays it to Elanga's feet, Elanga would have a tap in, he could take a touch and stroke it in, and he's chipped it across the face of the goal, and Elanga's never getting there. And after that, it's ended up Burnley free kick, and then they've almost stolen a point at the death.
Almost, but they didn't. Yeah. They didn't. Look, it was a game we were expected to win. We've won it. Sets us up nicely for Wednesday night, and obviously for Derby next weekend.
BBC Radio Newcastle. We've had a late finish at St James's Park. A lot of added on time at the end of each half, mainly because of VAR decisions that were then changed to penalty. One for Newcastle before half time, one for Burnley at the end. 2-1 at St James's, it's finished. 0800 234 6565 is the number to ring to talk to John Anderson and Gary Bennett on our post-match phone-in. Dressing room reaction will come from the Etihad and from St James's. We'll have the non-league roundup before 6 as well. Just finally, Ando, they were really disappointed on Tuesday, Newcastle, with how they let it slip against Spurs, and that nearly happened again today. It was just important that they won this. It's another big week ahead. Every week's a big week, there's always a midweek game, but Champions League on Wednesday, when they could pretty much secure passage to at least the playoff round, and then the derby next Sunday. So they wanted a positive feeling with a result today, which they managed to get, and having Wissa in the squad and on has also added to, I think, probably the good feel once the shock of what nearly happened at the end settles down.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have Wissa back. Good that he got game time. 1 or 2 nice little touches when he came on. As you say, it was important that we won. We did. Although we got a big scare right at the end.
Yeah. Just still trying to catch my breath after all of that. Burnley so close to an equaliser. I do think there might have been a foul when Cher went down.
You're hoping there was a foul.
Yeah, so it might not have counted.
You'll never know now, though, will you?
Thankfully, that wasn't factored into any decision. But they got there, Newcastle United, with a victory. They didn't drop any more points from a winning position. 6 defeats in a row for Burnley. Earlier, finishing in a more timely manner than this one, with lots of additional football, as Martin Dubravka is the last player off, and as the Newcastle fans singing his name, he's
got quite an emotional look about him, Martin Dubravka, and he's applauding this thousands who stayed back as Dubravka walks off and waves to some of the Newcastle supporters. United have moved up to 10th from where they were in 12th, and Sunderland in 7th after their 3-0 defeat by Manchester City, with Luke O'Nien sent off, so he's going to miss the derby. And Newcastle United here. Bruno Guimaraes scored direct from a corner in the first half. Burnley then reduced to 10 men. Lucas Pires sent off. Anthony Gordon in the 8th minute of first half added on time scored a penalty. Burnley in the 94th minute scored a penalty and almost equalised, but they didn't, and it's finished at St James's. Here on BBC Radio Newcastle with our post-match phone-in on the way. Newcastle United 2, Burnley 1.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Thank you to Razor, thank you to Nick Barnes as well if you were listening. Sunderland beaten 3-0 at Manchester City. Luke O'Nien sent off as well, as Razor has just told you he will miss the derby. It's just 1 win in 6 now for Sunderland. That's probably not a fair reflection of current progress though. Come on and chat with Benno about this afternoon's game. Newcastle United, as you've just heard, clung on to beat Burnley 2-1 in the end, despite Burnley going down to 10 men 2 minutes before the end of the first half. 7 wins from 8 now at home for Newcastle, but my goodness, that was close at the end. Give Ando and Benno a call then to chat about your team. 0800 234 6565 is the number. 0800 234 6565. If you need to message us because you can't call us, we welcome them as well. WhatsApp is 08000 321 333. A text message comes to 81333. Start them all with the letters BBC. There is plenty to talk about.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
I am in Durham Christmas Market as part of the Durham Christmas Festival, and I'm joined now by Ben the Spoon Man. We probably have to explain exactly what a spoon man is.
It's nothing kinky. I make things out of cutlery for a living.
How many times do people make the two Ronnie's fork handle jokes here?
Oh, yeah, too many times. Too many times.
I'm not even going to do it. Because I can sense, Ben, the hatred in your eyes.
You could see, yeah, absolutely.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Reminder of that number for you to call then, 0800 234 6565, to talk about Sunderland's 3-0 defeat at Manchester City or Newcastle's 2-1 win over Burnley. We will go through the rest of the scores and then come back to that phone in very shortly, but plenty of time for you to get your calls in. In the Premier League today then, the early game, so Aston Villa score in the 95th minute to beat Arsenal 2-1. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 was a full-time score. Everton beat Nottingham Forest 3-0. Milinkovic's own goal after 2 minutes. Tierno Barry 3 minutes into first half injury time, and then Kieran Dewsbury Hall in the last 10 minutes. So Everton 3, Nottingham Forest 0. As we know, Sunderland losing 3-0 at Manchester City, and Luke O'Nien sent off in injury time as well. Newcastle beat Burnley by 2-1. Bruno and Gordon with those goals in the first half. Spurs beat Brentford 2-0. Both of their goals came in the first half as well. Richarlison and Xavi Simons. And the 5:30 kickoff is Leeds against Liverpool.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
In the Championship, a couple of early games. Leicester City won 3-1 at Derby, and Watford beat Norwich 3-2. In the 3 o'clock games, Millwall won 1-0 at Bristol City through Ivanovic. Ipswich beat the leaders Coventry City by 3-0. Egeli in the first half, then Hurst and Ivan Azon in the second half. Ipswich 3, Coventry 0. Preston 1, Wrexham 1. Preston equalising with 10 minutes to go. Kiefer Moore given Wrexham the lead after just 4 minutes. Queen's Park Rangers were 3-1 winners over West Bromwich Albion. Sheffield United were 4-0 winners over Stoke City. Southampton beat Birmingham by 3-1. A couple in there for Adam Armstrong. And Swansea beat Oxford United by 2-0.
Total Sport North East.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
There were 2 games abandoned in the Championship, just to tell you about those, for very different reasons. So Blackburn against Sheffield Wednesday was abandoned after an hour because of a waterlogged pitch. They only played around 15 minutes in the Charlton-Portsmouth game. That was one of the early kickoffs today. There was a medical emergency in the crowd, and it was decided not to restart that match between Charlton and Portsmouth. Not many games at all in Leagues 1 and 2 because of the FA Cup that we'll come on to in just a moment. They were all lunchtime kickoffs actually in League 1 and 2. Cardiff beat Huddersfield 3-2 in League 1. Bradford City, through an Antoni Sarcevic penalty, won 1-0 away at Plymouth. And in League 2, the only game of the day, finished Colchester 0, Gillingham 0.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
In the National League, Gateshead not playing today because they're in the FA Cup tomorrow. Hartlepool United beaten 2-0 at home by Yeovil Town, and they had Francis sent off in the 98th minute as well. We'll come back to the rest of non-league in a minute. FA Cup then, Accrington Stanley 2, Mansfield Town 2. They are playing extra time. It was one each after 90 minutes. They both scored in extra time as well. There was a battle of the National League South sides that saw Weston-super-Mare win 2-0 away at Chelmsford City. Buxton of National League North had been leading Cheltenham of League 2 2-1 at half-time. Cheltenham got their act together in the second half and they won it in the end by 6-2. Exeter City beat Wickham 4-0. Fleetwood against Luton Town has gone to extra time because Mengi equalised for Luton in the 93rd minute. That is half-time in extra time. Grimsby nowhere near needing extra time. They beat Wealdstone of the National League by 4-0. MK Dons beat Oldham 3-1. Luke Hannant scored a penalty, the former Gateshead player, for Oldham, but it wasn't enough for them. Barnsley won 1-0 away at Peterborough United. Port Vale won 1-0 at home to Bristol Rovers. It's gone to extra time between Stockport County and Cambridge United because that finished 0-0. But Swindon have beaten Bolton by 4-0. The final game of the 3 o'clocks has also gone to extra time. Wigan 2, Barrow 2. There is a 5:15 game which is Sutton United against Shrewsbury, and then at 7:30 it's Chesterfield against Doncaster.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC podcast
on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
In National League North, it was a rare defeat for South Shields. They were beaten 2-0 at home by Kidderminster Harriers. It means they are 4 points behind Fylde now at the top of the table with a game in hand after that result for them. And Fylde were 1-0 winners at home to Merthyr Town this afternoon. That's why there's a 4-point gap there. In the NPL Premier Division, 2 brilliant results for our teams today. Hebburn Town came from a goal down at Hyde United to win 3-1. Kean Foreman scoring 2 in the last 10 minutes. And Morpeth's resurgence continues as well. 2-0 win over Prescott Cables at Craig Park. Will Dowling in the first half, Dom Martins in the second. In the NPL East Division, Ashington against Consett was postponed last night, and Blythe Town against Newton Aycliffe was postponed today. But in the matches that did go ahead, Dunstan won 2-1 at Ossett United. Alex Petrovic and David Robinson with their goals. Heaton Stannington were 2-0 winners over Brighouse Town thanks to Connor Lamb and Dale Pearson. And Blythe Spartans were on course for a really good point away at Bradford Park Avenue until the 94th minute when they conceded, and Bradford Park Avenue won that one by 2-1. There was late drama as well in our featured non-league game of the day, the FA Vase third round, North Shields against Liversedge. North Shields are one remaining team in the competition, and we can still use that sentence, Paul Dixon, but only just.
Oh, you're dead right, Colin. They definitely are in the FA Vase next round. There's a party going on here. It's absolutely unbelievable. The game finished 1-1. Terrific first half. And then it went second half. It was very defensive. Both teams defended very, very well. And then we went into a penalty shootout. And it finished North Shields 6, Liversedge 5. It was absolutely breathtaking. The winning penalty was scored by Nelson Ofawibi, who had an absolutely brilliant game. He got Shields' goal to make it 1-1 after Liversedge had went ahead. Alex Woolerton scored an absolute superb goal, but Shields could have had goals in the first half, but it finished 1-1 at half-time. Second half was a real tough battle, very little chances on a pitch, Colin. That was really, really heaven. But then the penalty shootout, it was just unbelievable. They've won 6-5, the clubhouse is packed, they're partying, they're through to the next round. The final score 1-1, but North Shields winning 6-5 on penalties.
Absolutely fantastic. Paul Dixon, thank you very much. Once they've slightly calmed down, Paul's going to go and get an interview from somebody connected with North Shields, and we will hear that in the local football roundup at 5:45.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
That is the phone number, 0800 234 6565. You can send us messages as well. Plenty of you are already. 81333 if it's a text message. 08000 321 333 if it's a WhatsApp message. Start them all with the letters BBC. But we do like to hear your voices. So if you've got time, if you've got the opportunity, come on and have your say about either Sunderland's 3-0 defeat at Manchester City this afternoon or Newcastle United's 2-1 win over Burnley. Let's bring back in both Gary Bennett and John Anderson. Good evening to you both.
Hello, Colin.
Andrew, I'm going to start with you. We've had a message that I will come back to later on, but it starts by saying, don't let the fact that we won paper over the cracks. Is that a fair assessment of the game?
I thought we did what we had to do, to be quite honest. I think all of a sudden we know that we've got an awful lot of games. I think we preserved a little bit of energy as well. We were comfortable right on up to at a time when we gave us a silly penalty away. You know, the sending off had an influence on the game, of course it had. I mean, Burnley were very limited. They didn't really carry a threat up top. You know, Ramsdale's never really had the save to make, although in saying that, their corner kicks they stuck their corner kicks right under the crossbar, and we struggled to deal with them, to be quite honest, and Ramsdale struggled to deal with them as well. But I'm not too sure what that means. Papering over the cracks. I thought at the death again, our game management wasn't great.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll read the rest of the message out then and do John, who's sent us a message. Give him the fair time that his message deserves then. Says, don't let the fact that we won Ando paper over the cracks. We've got a lot of problems that need sorting out. We're so poor at defending corners. Ramsdale looks all over the place when the ball goes into the middle, and we've not been clinical in front of goal. Our game management is terrible, says John.
Yeah, well, I just mentioned the corner kicks, didn't I? And I said that we didn't deal with them, and that the goalkeeper didn't really deal with them. Yeah, he flapped at an awful lot. And we know what that means. We've had plenty of discussions about goalkeepers flapping in situations this season. And I thought right at the death, needless penalty to give away. You know, we were in cruise control. He made 6. You got to remember, they made 6 changes today as well. You know, and lads that came in worked hard. Burnley weren't good. You know, let's not paper over the cracks there. Burnley aren't a good side, they're a poor side, and on the evidence of what you're seeing today will probably go straight back down. But I think you've got to take into consideration the amount of games that we've got coming up. You've got to preserve energy while you can. We got 2-0 up and we controlled the game. You know, we were in control of the game second half, but we're not scoring enough goals, and to be fair, we didn't look like scoring a great deal of goals today either. You know, it was good to see Wissa come on though. You know, he came on, he had one or two neat little touches. So yeah, that was a bonus. He got 15 minutes. But he's it's a bonus to have him back, because he gives you different options. I thought Elanga today carried on where he left off at Everton last week. You know, he did what you want to see him do: have a go at his fullback, take on his fullback down the outside, stick crosses into the box. Gordon was lively yet again, dispatched his penalty really well. So look, I don't think you can be too critical if I'm perfectly honest, Colin. I know, I understand the text message to a degree, but I think you've got to put it into context as well.
Well, actually, I'm going to ask Gary Bennett now to put Sunderland's 3-0 defeat at Manchester City into context, because A, it was a free hit that you'd said beforehand, and B, Sunderland at times on the ball didn't look all that bad at all.
Well, I think the sending off changed the game.
They were just about to come back and get 3, weren't they, Benno?
No, listen. Man City, obviously the result before the ball was kicked today, obviously with Arsenal getting beat, I'm not saying that was the reason why, but they had a player called Shirky who played today. He was excellent. When you're talking about a player who wants to create things, every time he got on the ball he made something happen. And Manchester City got quality players. They have. We defended at times very well, but when we do win the ball, that's when you've got to keep it. We kept giving it back to Manchester City, especially in the first 45 minutes. And as it went on, the first goal was an excellent strike. 22, 23 yards out, great strike. Maybe we could have got nearer to try to stop the shot. The second one was a free header. We've got to do better from set pieces. And the third one is a Rabona, and Phil Foden got on the end of it, and it's a good header. But we've got to do. We've got to react to this result. We've got to learn from this result and go on.
0800 234 6565, the number to call if you want to talk to Benno about Sunderland's game this afternoon. We've got Andrew who's called us to talk about Newcastle's victory this afternoon. Good evening, Andrew.
Hi, Colin, Ando, Benno.
Hello, Andrew.
Hi. I thought I don't think 2-1 really paints a true reflection of the game, Ando. I think it was very comfortable. I think Burnley started well the first 3 or 4 minutes. They attacked and that had some dangerous corners. But apart from that, it was incredibly comfortable. And I thought we were playing in second and third gear, which you've alluded to, with the kind of week we've got coming up and all the changes that we've made. I thought it was a very comfortable performance. Obviously, it wasn't ideal at the end, giving away that penalty. But other than, do you really, before the penalty happened, did you have any nerves? Because I didn't.
No, none whatsoever.
No.
As soon as the boy got sent off, you went, that's it. Because even prior to that, Burnley had a goal, to be fair to them, but they had nothing up front. They had no quality in that final third of the pitch. They were never really going to hurt you. It's a stupid penalty to give away at the death. And the chance right at the end on the final whistle, the header. Unbelievable how he gets nothing on it. But it would have been. I thought it was a game we were in total control of, and people go on about game management, and I thought you had to preserve energy as well. You only, with the amount of games that we've got coming up and one thing and another, you do what you've got to do to get through games, and I thought that's exactly what we were doing today. Obviously the penalty gave them a little bit of hope, but as I say, silly penalty to give away, but I never ever felt we were in any danger today at all.
No, absolutely not. And people talk about game management. Tonali's gone into the corner after the penalty to waste some time, so that is a good thing for game management. Their chance at the end, or the penalty, just came from a free kick into the box, which they've lumped in. So I'm not sure you can blame that on game management. It's just one of those things. You don't want to handball it, but it's like instinctive, isn't it? You don't think about it. But let's just take the 3 points and move on to Leverkusen. I thought there was some decent performances out there. I thought Anthony Gordon was very good against Kyle Walker. I thought Joe Willock was good in midfield. Chow at the back, very accomplished, very calm, just a good player. And it was a very straightforward 3 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, look, people would want you to win by more. I can understand that, but it's all about getting wins on the board, just winning games and moving on to the next. And you've got to preserve a little bit of energy as well. You've got to go to Germany midweek, then you've got to come back, and then there's a derby next weekend. So it was a comfortable win, 2-1. but it was comfortable. You know, Burnley for me never ever carried a threat apart from those from those corner kicks first half. I don't think Ramsdale covered himself in glory dealing with them, if I'm perfectly honest. But look, I think that's all they had, because they had nobody who held the ball up and brought people into the game. They worked hard. But I said to Colin earlier on, Andrew, you know, on the evidence of what you're seeing today, you think Burnley are going to go straight back down again.
Yeah, Andrew, we're going to have to leave it there, move on. Thank you very much indeed for calling us. 0800 234 6565 is the number. Couple of ways to send us messages as well. 81333 for text messages, 08000 321 333 for WhatsApp messages. Gary Bennett's finally coughed enough that I'm going to come back to him. I'm going to give you Gus as well. Good evening, Gus.
You're going to give me Gus?
Yeah, good evening, Simon. Good evening, Gary.
Hello, Gus.
How
are you?
Hi. You seem to have a bit of a groggy voice, don't you? I can tell in your commentary. Hi. Hi, Gary, it's... I don't think we were too disappointed, Gary, really, overall, with the performance. I just think it's... The quality of Manchester City was the difference, and obviously when we did have the ball, we sometimes, like you see, we let it go too easily and gave it away. And like you see, the lad in the middle for Man City, is it Cherkis?
He was
exceptional player today, and they just got quality around the pitch, Gary, and you know, I mean, we held out for half an hour, and I thought, like, you know, if we can get to half time, we'd have been quite pleased. But it's like you said, if there's a way to open up, Manchester City will find it, and they did. And yes, but never mind. I think it's all we've got to learn from it, and that's the level that we've got to try and find, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, you look at Manchester City this afternoon, and they've got quality in the team. You know, again, you've got to say 3-0 could have been more. But saying that, we did create a couple of chances as well, especially in the second half. It was a little bit more forward thinking.
Yeah, we did.
But you know, before the season started, we always knew that it was going to be difficult coming to Manchester City. You know, we performed well midweek against Liverpool. Could we do the same again? We came against quality players this afternoon.
That's right, Gary. We did. It was just the quality, Gary. And sometimes there's not. Sometimes you've got to put your hands up and say that it's that's the way it is. Sometimes it's against you, you know. But not to worry. But like you say, hopefully the lads will learn from these things and you know, get back. You know, hopefully we can try and put it all behind us and get their performance in next week.
That's right.
The fans today, Gary, were exceptional. They kept with the team.
Yeah, they did indeed. The supporters was excellent today. You've got to take the positives out of the game.
That's right, yeah.
The positives, you know, Siddiqui.
Enzo did all right, Gary, today with his... thought Enzo did all right there on the left, you know.
Yeah, they did, and Ballard in the heart of defence as well did well today. I thought, you know, and again, listen, what we've got to do, take the positives out of this game today. You know, Siddiqui not getting booked, Xhaka not getting booked. Xhaka even hit the post. You know, Wilson Easterdo had a good opportunity. It was a good save by the goalkeeper. You know, it was a little bit more forward thinking in the second half. The first half, yes, we kept our shape, but when you've got players like Cherkis on, you know, he can create opportunities, and he did do this afternoon.
Yeah.
Gus, we're going to leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Gus.
Thank you.
Thank you
Gus.
to you, Gus. A reminder of that number, 0800 234 6565. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to Newcastle United in a minute or two as well. Exactly 5:30 now.
Make family time stress-free this Christmas with CBeebies Parenting. There's loads of things to do. Simple recipes to try together and activities to keep your little one learning as they play. Games with your favourite characters.
You can also use these buttons.
And, of course, all the shows you can watch together.
This is amazing!
Share some magic moments this Christmas. CBeebies Parenting, here when you need us. Search CBeebies Parenting.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And a packed 6-yard box as players make their move. Bruno fires it in! Bruno scored straight from the corner! Well, we said his delivery was good the other night. It's even better this time. Bruno Guimaraes, direct from a corner kick. Beyond his old colleague Martin Dubravka has given Newcastle United the lead in what's been an awkward half an hour. Well, it's been funny game so far, and it's a curious goal. You don't see many of those, but Bruno has scored again, his 5th of the season. Newcastle United 1, Burnley 0. Surely the last kick of the half. Gordon is ready, so's the referee. Dubravka bouncing up and down on his line. Anthony Gordon exhales, waits, now comes forward, sends Dubravka the wrong way. Bottom left corner of the goal. Newcastle United have a 2-0 lead, Ando.
Yeah, quality penalty, wasn't it?
Fleming from the penalty spot against Ramsdale. Here we go. It's into the bottom corner as Ramsdale gets close, got across well, but the lead is halved. Newcastle United 2, Burnley 1.
Kelly and Traore across there in front of him. It's back to Shirky, back of the penalty area, into the middle with Diaz's shot and a goal from Ruben Diaz.
You better close him down.
Smashed it into the top right corner. Foden then with this corner on the right towards the far post. So a header straight into the bottom corner, is it? It is. Yeah. He drives the ball up to the edge of the area looking for Broby, but it's come back out now for Haaland in the centre circle. Doku's on his left. He's gone through Bernardo and then out wide on the right, Shirky. Shirky trying to sprint past Hume, and he checks, puts the ball on his left foot, and it's off the bar and in from Foden.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Those the highlights then from Newcastle United and Sunderland matches this afternoon. We've got John Anderson and Gary Bennett with us for the next 15 minutes or so. You can send us messages as well on WhatsApp and via SMS text messages. Let's read this. Newcastle United 1. Doesn't have a name. Oh, it does. Sorry, Mark. You put it right at the end, which is what I've asked you to do, so well done, Mark. Mark says, I have to say I've been looking forward to seeing Ramsey play, John, but I thought he was dreadful this afternoon. Probably deserved to win it overall, but we still made it harder than it should have been. It was a new look midfield.
Yeah, it was. I think they need... You know, this is something we spoke about on Total Sport, about players coming in, but they need games, Colin. You know, you need to play games to get up to speed. He probably won't play on Wednesday night. He won't play next weekend either. You know, so God knows when he's going to get his next run out. But you need a run of games. You need to play consecutive games, 4, 5, 6 games to get up to the pace of everything and get into the swing of it. And I didn't think he was bad. I thought he did some good stuff. He did some bad stuff as well. But that's solely down to the fact that he hasn't been playing a great deal of football, in my opinion.
Yes, keep your Sunderland messages coming in as well. We'll come back to them shortly. Let's bring in Steve, who's a Newcastle fan. Evening, Steve.
Evening, lads. How's everyone doing?
Well, very well, thank you. What did you make of all of that then?
Well, that injury time, I've got tomato sauce and onions all over my shirt, squeezing the hot dog, shouting, blow your whistle, blow your... That was scary the last couple of minutes after they scored their penalty. As a football fan, we're sadomasochists, aren't we? We just always think it's always going to go against someone. But the first 5, I've got to disagree a bit with Andrew. I thought it was a little bit more than 3 minutes. I thought it was about 5 or 10 minutes when they were on top at the beginning of the first half. I thought we were a bit lethargic, off the pace.
Yeah, I thought they started the game well. I thought they pressed. They got 3 or 4 corners on the bounce that they swung in and put us under pressure. I thought they had about 10-15 minutes spell as well. In fact, you would say up to the goal, it was pretty even. You know, there wasn't a great deal in the game. I mean, the first goal direct from a corner is...
You don't see many of them.
It's a great ball in, but the goalkeeper's position, and Dubravka won't want to see it again, because that's embarrassing for a goalkeeper. It goes straight over his head into the far corner. But up to that point, it was pretty even, to be quite honest.
But you've just called Dubravka for that. I agree with you. But for the rest of his game, I thought he kept them well in it. It could have been a lot more against them if it wasn't for him. He made a hell of a lot of really good saves.
Yeah, he made saves. There were saves we've seen them make here, to be quite honest, as well. You know, they as soon as the sending off happened, they were on the back foot. You know, they were never going to get out. They couldn't get out. They had no outlet. They got pinned back in all the time. But we couldn't really kill the game off. But at 2-0, you couldn't see them getting back into it. You never felt that they had enough to get back into the game. And then all of a sudden, the penalty. And after the penalty, we were like rabbits in the headlights for that last couple of minutes, you know. And the chance at the end was unbelievable. I mean, for anybody that hasn't seen it, they'll want to have a look at it on Match of the Day tonight.
Like I said, I was shouting at the pitch, blow your whistle, please blow your whistle. that was like I said, when we scored our first goal from that corner, I thought we bossed the game until they got their penalty. I thought we bossed it until we just didn't the right ball going into the box to make the chance happen.
Yeah, as I say, after the sending off, we were in control of the game. I thought we kept the ball well. We didn't try and force things. As you say, Dubravka's made saves, but I thought there were saves you'd expect them to make, to be quite honest. But you know, I never thought we were in any danger, even when they got the penalty right at the death. But the chance right at the death then frightened the life out of me, I have to say.
I'll just make one more comment.
Go for it.
It'd be a car park or an alleyway or a boxing ring for Reza and Gary.
What for?
No. It's been a very civil back and forth debate / bet about the derby next weekend. It will not descend into that sort of chaos. Steve, thank you very much for talking to us this evening. 0800 234 6565. Yeah, Gary, it's been what sort of afternoon has it been then? Did Luke O'Nien deserve to be sent off? I finally got the opportunity to see the replay of his tackle. I'm not sure he's got too much to complain about.
He hasn't got too much to complain about. He knows himself. He was already walking. It's
not like him to lunge into things, Gary, is it?
Well, you know, John, maybe in the Championship, obviously you haven't got VAR, but you might get away with it in the Championship. You won't get away with it in the Premiership.
Yeah,
that's for sure. And he knew. And listen, you know, we all know about football. We all know about Luke O'Nien and whatever it is. When you start playing at this level, and we keep saying it week in, week out, you've got to be disciplined, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to be disciplined.
There's too many cameras all over the place now.
That's right. You can't get away with it. You can't get away with it. You know, in the Championship, you can get away with it. You know, the odd pull of the shirt or whatever it is, or challenge or whatever it is, you can get away with it. But in the Premiership, there's so many cameras from all different angles that you know you get caught out, and that was the same with Luke O'Nien this afternoon.
Yeah, let's bring in Kevin, who's been listening to this conversation. Evening, Kevin.
Good evening, Colin. How are you doing? Hey, Gary, John.
Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
What do you say about Luke? Look, I absolutely adore the kid. I think his journey in football has been absolutely marvellous, and you know, he's come from non-league through. He's played 300 games for Sunderland. He's going to be alongside your good self, Gary, in that legendary thing. He's always going to be loved at the club. But I think if we're all honest with each other, we all knew that he's got this in him. You know, and he did get away with an awful lot in the Championship and in League One that you're just not going to get away with it all. And I mean, as soon as that tackle went in, I was sitting watching it over here in the sunniest of climes, I have to say at the moment still. But we all looked at each other and just went, he's got to go. There's no way he's not going on that. And you look at the slow motion, I mean, goodness, I mean, I know you might say he got there as quick as he could, but that was just it's not a Premier League tackle. It's not a Premier League tackle. And you've just got to wonder whether the manager's looking at that thinking, can I risk him again at this level in a really important game. Imagine if we'd gone to 2-1 and you're pushing for an equaliser and you put him on and that happens. And I know it's a rash thing, and perhaps you could say any player could get caught, but he does have history in this, and I feel for the kid. I think he'll be absolutely gutted tonight sitting in that dressing room. He will be inconsolable. But, you know, it's a professional game, and the manager's got to look at this and go, well, could I put somebody else on? Could I do something different? Would I choose him in the future and trust him not to do that again? I don't know. Which is a shame.
Listen, Luke O'Neill knows. You know, the management knows, everybody knows, you know, but that wasn't the decision which made us lose the game today. You know, we're playing against.
Of course it wasn't.
The reason we lost the game today is because we're playing against quality players.
Yep.
You know, it was always.
That third goal summed it up, Gary.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, you know, the little report. I mean, that is just absolute. I mean, you've got to take your hat off as a Sunderland fan. You've got to look at that and go, "That was fantastic."
It was fun. Listen. You watched him this afternoon. It was excellent. He was on. He ran the show today. He's a very, very good player.
He is.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
Gary, they've got 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
So a very, very good player. That's the difference, you know. I mean, I thought we did really well, Gary. I thought we matched them for passion. We matched them for heart. We didn't, you know. I mean, Roos hasn't had a save to make, and we're 2-0 down.
Yeah.
That shows you what the game was all about, you know. And we had our chances. I mean, if Wilson takes his chance, it's 2-1, and it's a different game again.
Correct.
So, you know, there's a lot of ifs and buts in football, Gary, but for me, I stopped talking about this one the second the whistle goes, and I look to Sunday's game now, and that's what we have to do. These were always free hits for us in a lot of ways. I look at the next game now, and I'm sure the manager will look at it that way as well, Gary, and I'm sure the players will.
Yeah. You know? Listen, before the ball was kicked this week, you know, was he expecting to get anything from Liverpool? Was he expecting to get anything from Manchester City? You know, a lot of people...
If you'd asked me at half-time last Saturday, how many points am I going to get in the next 3 games?
Yeah.
I would have been, you know, reluctant to say it too. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we've got 4 points. We move on. We're looking good. We're still sitting very pretty in that league. I still have confidence that this is a team that's going to keep us up, and I'll say that quite openly. I think we will stay up with this side. And we go into Sunday's game with a fresh look. We haven't had the bookings to Xhaka and Siddiqui, who, you know, we were all fearing that maybe the worst. We can go in and pick the team we need to play that game, and that's going to be an extremely hard, tough game on Sunday. It really will be, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, isn't it? You know, I think it's got the makings of being a good game. You know, but was we going to go all season unbeaten? No, we weren't. We're going to lose games. It's how we're going to react from that.
And we will find out across the next 8 days, and then next Sunday as well. Gary, thank you very much. As always, going to let you go. You've got a journey home, so safe journey.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks.
Safe home, Gary.
Cheers, John. Joy.
Bennett will be
all
back.
The best, mate.
He'll be back on Friday night, Will Benno, and we're going to keep you just a minute longer, partly because we're now going to hear a quick bit from Eddie Howe.
Unbelievable league that we're in, and very good teams every week you're playing against. I think for us, we're disappointed today with how we played, let's be honest and upfront about it. We scraped to win. Haven't done that well enough this year. We're not playing well, so we'll take that. 10 points from 12 puts us in a much better position in the league. Certainly these games are always very difficult when the onus and everything is on our shoulders to take the game forward, but we didn't handle it well enough, and we're very pleased to get over the line and win though.
Valid observations, do you think, that they were... I don't think he used the word lucky, but he said that, you know, they scraped it.
Yeah, to a degree.
You weren't quite as sort of negative, I guess, across the whole thing as... Yeah.
I think we did what we had to do to win the game, and I think at times you've got to do that. You know, you've got to look at the bigger picture with the amount of games that we've got coming up and big games that we've got coming up, and it's all about conserving energy and one thing and another. You know, it's no good going boom, 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 knowing that you're going to win the game. You know, at 2-0, you never ever seen Burnley coming back into it, never seen Burnley getting nothing out of it, because they didn't have the quality in those forward areas that you ever thought they were going to hurt you. And it came down to was switching off and giving away a silly penalty. You know, but look, it was 2-1. It says 2-1, but it was a comfortable win in the end. You know, it was easier than the scoreline looks, to be quite honest. But it's another 3 points on the board, and that's what it's about. When you're not, we weren't at our best today. He made the six changes, and they're not going to gel straight away. Some of these players haven't played a great deal of football either, so it was all about getting game time into them. But as I say, at the end of the day, it's another 3 points on the board.
Exactly, a successful afternoon in that respect. Ando, thank you very much indeed to you.
Cheers,
as
Carl.
well. Safe,
Thank you.
short journey home. But Ando will be back on Total Sport on Monday, and of course he's got a game to cover. Newcastle United in action on Wednesday night away at Leverkusen in the Champions League. Sunderland's next game is the derby. Our next focus is non-league football.
Anna Foster. Weekday mornings from 10.
So I have been out and about at Edward's house in Gateshead for their Christmas light switch on. Deb Pardos-Todd is their Chief Operating Officer.
We started over 15 years ago, and since then we've grown. We've now got around 50 staff members. We've got 4 community houses, all in Gateshead, all working with local people to build happier, healthier, friendlier communities.
It's been the most fantastic day. Please listen back on BBC Sounds, and on Monday we'll be looking at some Christmas books that you might want to add to your gift list this year. See you then.
Anna Foster. Weekday mornings from 10.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Local football.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
You are listening to the local football roundup on BBC Radio Newcastle, the best place to get reaction to the day's non-league games in the North East. You can drop us a message if you're quick. Let us know how your team got on today. 08000 321 333 is the WhatsApp number. 81333 is the text number. Start all of your messages with the letters BBC, but remember not to message if you're catching up on BBC Sounds later, because we won't read it, but you might still be charged. We're going to hear from some of those involved in today's biggest games in just a moment, but first of all, here are all of today's results. We start in the Enterprise National League North. South Shields 1, Kidderminster Harriers 2. Pitching in Northern Premier League Premier Division, Hyde United 1, Hebburn Town 3, Morpeth Town 2, Prescott Cables 0. Pitching in Northern Premier League East Division, Ashington against Consett was postponed last night, and Blythe Town against Newton Aycliffe was postponed today. Ossett United 1, Dunstan 2, Heaton Stannington 2, Brighouse Town 0, Bradford Park Avenue 2, Blythe Spartans 1. The Isuzu FA Vase third round, North Shields 1, Liversedge 1, North Shields winning 6-5 on penalties. EBAC Northern League Division 1 last night, West Auckland Town 1, Carlisle City 3. Today, Berkeley Town 4, Crook Town 2. Easington Colliery 3, Borough Rangers 3. Mask United against Wickham and Newcastle Blue Star against Penrith were postponed. Northallerton Town 0, West Allotment Celtic 0. Thornaby 1, Newcastle Benfield 2. Whitley Bay against Horden was postponed, and Shildon 4, Kendal Town 3. EBAC Northern League Division 2 last night, Billingham Synthonia 1, Darlington Town 1. Postponed last night was Park View against Durham United. Also postponed today, Seaham Red Star against Brighton and Crockbrook Albion, Prada YC Seniors against Sunderland West End, and Chesley Street Town against Newcastle University. FC Hartlepool 3, Alnwick Town 0. Jarrow against Redcar Town and AFC Newbiggin against Yarman Eaglescliff both postponed. Bolton CA 4, Towlaw Town 2. Billingham Town 3, Grangetown Boys Club 3. And finally, in the Scottish Lowland League, it finished Bo'ness United 1, Berwick Rangers 3. We are going to try and fit 3 interviews in the next 9 minutes. Let's go. We begin our featured non-league game of the day. North Shields against Liversedge, our only remaining side in the FA Vase. And my goodness, Paul Dixon, they made everybody wait before they got through to the 4th round.
Well, they certainly did, Colin. Yes, it was 1 each at full time, and now we had the penalty shootout, which finished 6-5. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. I've got the manager, Brian Smith of North Shields, here with me. Brian, some game that today, wasn't it?
Brilliant end to it. Can't beat that. Penalty shootouts. That's two we've had in the last 2 rounds. Just class. But we were brilliant in the first half, Dicker. We just second half, as I was talked about, quite even. But what a way to end. It was class.
19 games they've gone without defeat, right? And I think they really fancied that chance today. But, you know, the first half, Shields were the best team and they had chances, didn't you?
We did. Nella caused loads and loads of problems for them, but it wasn't just them. Reese and the forward players, young Jake Lish coming on and Slats, and we were just really good. We were excellent. We've been trying to keep the ball a bit more because sometimes it's a little bit like in the Northern League, it's a bit give it away and it's like games of basketball really, but we're trying to keep it a bit better. And slowly, I can see that, definitely seen that in the first half. But I had a couple of changes, Blair Adams at right back, but everyone was brilliant in that first half.
Once it's at full time and it was a penalty shootout, right? And you had 2 opportunities before we went, you know, extra penalties. 2 good chances to win it, didn't you?
Aye, excellent. Lash comes on. He's been ill. He's been injured and then ill this week, but he comes on last 15 minutes and just can cause havoc when he comes on. And he did. We're just a little bit short of finishing off. And I think it was the last 2 minutes when he had a really good chance, but it just didn't work out. He passed it, tried to pass it, but it just didn't work out.
Now, the man who did score the 6th and final goal, I've had trouble with his name all day because he's had a very good game. Nelson's alongside me here. Nelson, just tell us what your surname is.
Ogbewe.
Say it again.
Ogbewe.
Now, Nelson, you had to take the 6th penalty there to score the goal. How did you feel?
To be fair, I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to take it. So it was between me and one of the other lads, Fuzzy. I don't think he wanted to take it either. So one of the other lads was like, just Nelson, just go take it, just go win us the game. And I was like, oh, you know what, it's me or no one else. So I stepped up, grabbed the ball, and in my head I was thinking, just smash it, and wherever it goes, I have a feeling it's going to go in. So I took it, and I think the keeper had it touching it, then it went in. Then I was like, let me just go off and celebrate. So then all that's coming around behind us. So yeah, very happy.
Brilliant. Brian, just a quickie, who would you like in the next round, home or away? Yes?
Boring, definitely home, although the away trips are really good on the bus on the way back. Definitely home, not bothered who.
Colin, back to you. Brilliant scenes here at North Shields, and it's been a great afternoon.
Hasn't it just, Paul? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you to Brian Smith and Nelson Ogbewe as well. I'm very honest about not actually wanting to take the penalty in the shootout, but we're very pleased he did. North Shields will find out their opponents in the next round on Monday. Let's have a quick chat with Craig Lynch, the Morpeth manager, after their 2-0 win at home to Prescott Cables this afternoon. Evening, Craig.
Good evening. Evening, you alright?
That's 1 defeat and 7. Things are going all right now.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But I think it just comes down to key moments, big moments, and at the start of the season we weren't getting them, we weren't playing too badly, but we've just found a good bit of rhythm, we've kept clean sheets, which is a bonus. Bit unfortunate Tuesday night to concede in the last minute, or that would have been 3 clean sheets on the bounce, which would have been unbelievable. But it's another win, gets us out of the relegation zone for the first time all season, and hopefully we can start to look up now.
Well, funnily enough, I was going to ask you that. I think I've asked you this question before, and I remember your answer about whether you do look at the table. You're someone who does. You've said you're a football fan. It comes natural to you to look at the table, and therefore it means something to you and the players to be out of the relegation zone. Yeah,
it's massive. Yeah, I said every other week when I spoke to you. Yeah, we always look at the table, always look at the different scores. It's just what we do. Everyone has different ideas, but we do that, and we've got out of it. You kind of change it by looking at it, but you can only change what you can do and what you can focus on, and that's what we have been doing. And we've had some good games. We've done brilliantly, and next week's going to be a fantastic game against Hebburn.
Yeah, because we've been hoping to speak to Daniel Moore, the Hebburn manager. I think we're going to run out of time because, and it's a little bit unfair for me to ask you about them, but what I will say is how good a run they are on from kind of the end of October. Winning games, scoring goals, but not conceding as well. That's a challenge for you next time out.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. Look, I'm looking forward to it. We've had 3 good games against them in the past, and they've not beat us yet. So I know that'll give them a little bit of an extra boost to try and do that. And fair play to Bobby and Hoodie. They've done an exceptional job. We've got a great squad, great group of lads now. And 7 wins in this league on the bounce is unbelievable. I don't think it should be underestimated at all. Hopefully we can put a dent in that next week. It's going to be a difficult game for us, but it's one that I'm really looking forward to.
Yes, and I can imagine the players will be as well. Craig, we always appreciate your time. It's always quite tight, but thank you as always, Craig Lynch there, the Morpeth town manager, after their win over Prescott Cables this afternoon that gets them out of the relegation zone. Paul Dixon is still with us. We've got a minute or two. We're not going to get hold of Daniel Moore now, which means we've got a minute or two, Paul, to talk about Gateshead tomorrow. It's Walsall in the second round of the FA Cup. Gateshead haven't been in the third round since that day at West Brom. It's going to be quite an afternoon tomorrow. It's going to be wet as well, I think.
Well, you're right, Colin. I heard your interview with Alan and saying that a lot of the players were down with the flu and cold. I mean, that's not good preparation before probably one of the biggest games you've had for a long, long time. So I hope some of them lads have recovered. But when you've been ill, to come back and play your first game, I think you'll have to use the substitutes very cleverly tomorrow against a very, very good team. I mean, it's a tough test even if you had everybody mad fit, never mind some of them being injured.
Yeah,
It'll be a tough game for them tomorrow, Colin, it will.
It will indeed. Alan Armstrong hopeful that everybody was going to be able to train today, so if they were, clearly they've missed some training during the week, but who knows, they might have a full squad or a foolish squad to choose from tomorrow. Paul, we have got time to talk to Daniel Moore, so I'm going to say thank you to you. North Shields with a brilliant win this afternoon, on penalties in the end. Daniel Moore, Hebburn Town manager, thank you as always for joining us at quite short notice. You left that one a little bit late, but my goodness, you're on a good run.
Yeah, not great first half, but when you come away from home, it's about getting results. And in the last 10 days, we've travelled 985 miles, I think, in the last 10 days, 3 away games on the bounce, and we've got 9 points, so I can't ask much more than that, regardless of how we played. No, and you know, your substitutes are there to change the game, and that's clearly what Keane has done. Yeah, I think this year we've invested in the youth, really, and speaking to local clubs like we have done over previous years, and got these young players that want to go out and get some men's football, and we're reaping the rewards from that at the moment. You know, we've got Dan Cameron from Sunderland, and we've got the 2 kids from Hartlepool that are doing really well for us, experiencing that men's game, and we're giving them the platform to go and enjoy the football and helping us in the meantime. So it's a good balance at the moment, and we're trying to continue it for as long as possible. Absolutely. You named yourself on the bench, very briefly, you named yourself on the bench today as well. Was there any temptation to come on? No, not really. Thought not. I'm trying not to at the moment, but I hear teams saying that they've got 3 or 4 injured, but we've been missing 2 key players the last month, and the players that we've had, I believe in them. So we don't speak about injured players, to be honest. I think we have to go with what we've got. We've had Gary Martin missing today, who's in he's top scorer in the league, and we've still gone away from home and scored 3 goals. So more than happy with the result. Can't complain. Daniel, appreciate your time as always. Thank you very much indeed. Daniel Moore there, the Hebburn Town manager, after their 3-1 win away at Hyde United. The local football roundup will be at 5:45. No, it won't. There's no game next Saturday, is there? There's a big game on Sunday. We'll talk about that during the week. But the local football roundup will be back in a couple of weeks' time. This afternoon, Sunderland lost 3-0 at Manchester City. Newcastle United beat Burnley by 2-1. The next time those two play in the Premier League, they will be playing against each other. That's a week tomorrow. Total Sport, though, will go through all the weekend's action. That is at 6 o'clock on Monday.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.